It's a monster day in the calendar year of a sports fan. It's legal tampering, not illegal tampering. That's over. That's done with. We are back to legal tampering today at noon. The new league year really begins this week with free agency. But, man, was there a lot of news over the weekend around the NFL. And what a perfect time to bring back John Kincade from his vacation. It is Kincade Salciunas here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
This is Kincade Salciunas.
I'm not a doctor. I have not examined Joel Embiid's knee. But you know that he's going to miss an extended period of time. You know he's done for the rest of the season. He could miss a lot of time next year. I mean, we're in March already.
This offseason, you look at that and you say, okay, well, he's not going to be able to be traded. I don't think this is the end of him being a part of this team.
Kincade Salciunas. John Kincade, Andrew Salciunas.
97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
And a good Monday morning, Philadelphia. I'm Andrew Salciunas alongside my man who is tan, John Kincade, back from the Caribbean. Johnny, good morning.
And I missed you guys a bit.
Yeah, no, you didn't.
No, I missed you guys a bit.
Okay.
I did not miss being here at 6 in the morning. I love everybody, but
I was going to say.
Waking up in paradise was great. But I tell you, it is perfect timing to be back. As the legal tampering period begins, we got plenty of time to talk about everything else.
Yeah, it's a veteran move by you.
Legal tampering.
Veteran move by John to come back on probably one of the busier weeks where there's not actual games, right?
Makes it easy to come back to work. So that's good. Ready to go.
Happy legal tampering day. Good to have you back, man. It was a lot of fun with Connor.
I heard you guys had a great week.
And Andrew DeCecco and Amy. Yeah, but it's always good to have you back.
Good to be here.
Legal tampering begins at 12 noon today. Obviously, free agency opens up this week, and we're going to have a lot of fun with it. We'll have you covered. Andrew DeCecco is going to be doing hits with us Tuesday and Thursday for an hour, right? The day after legal tampering begins so that we can kind of get his reaction to the legal tampering period, and then Thursday after free agency opens.
And you will confirm that the only thing that I thought of about work while I was away was just a odd random thing before going to the martini bar Thursday night at the resort was, do we have DeCecco lined up for next week?
Yes,
and you were like, already on it, go back to partying.
Yeah, he texted me, hey, I'm not working, but. I'm like, no, you're working, and don't worry.
No, it was in my head.
I got it taken care of.
It crossed my head, and I should have known you had it handled, so it's all right.
So we can't wait to talk to Andrew this week.
You know what tampering means, Andrew?
What?
Like the word really means to cause damage, to corrupt influence upon, to make unauthorized alterations. So I am here, the wordsmith that I am, that the legal tampering period is the freaking most stupid thing that I've ever heard in sports because it is exactly the opposite. It's like you would say, the fat, skinny guy. It doesn't, you can't do it. The two words don't go together. Legal and tampering do not work.
Murdering.
They are unauthorized alterations. They're in order to cause damage and corrupt influence. But you know what? I'm all for Howie corrupting whoever the hell he wants.
Oh, and he's going to corrupt us.
You think he will?
Yeah, absolutely, man. That Saquon Barkley extension, which I need to get your reactions to all that stuff as the show goes on. That extension right before free agency opened up, I believe, was a little bit more than just a coincidence. Hey, look at what we're doing to one of our star players. We're rewarding him for an incredible season. Who wants to come play for the Philadelphia Eagles? I think that was a very strategic move by Howie to lock up Saquon Barkley for more years, more money, free up cap space, and, of course, show the rest of the league, all the free agents, look at what we do with our own. So there's a lot of moving parts today, and there's going to be a lot of reports that come out, and there's going to be a lot of reports that come out later on in the week in terms of players signing. But what I want to start off, just league-wide first, I got to ask the question, what are some teams doing, John? I saw last night a trade for DK Metcalf, who's a stud. Don't get me wrong, a great player. A trade for DK Metcalf, which was a second-round pick from the Pittsburgh Steelers to the Seattle Seahawks.
Which, by the way, second-round pick, I don't think if you're a team that thinks it can win in the next few years, you're not going to find that, I don't believe, in the draft.
Right.
That's probably going to make that kind of impact.
They extend him 5 years, $150 million, $30 million a year.
That's crazy.
For a team that doesn't have a quarterback.
It's crazy.
They don't have a quarterback. Russell Wilson and Justin Fields are both out on the market. And what? Are you going to bring back Russell Wilson? Probably not. Are you going to bring back Justin Fields? Maybe, but I don't know what kind of payday he's going to get. Speaking of the Seattle Seahawks, they trade away Geno Smith, which I think is a win for Seattle. The fact that they were able to move on from a quarterback that just kind of got them to a certain level, but they were never going to win anything big picture. And they trade him to the Raiders. The Raiders give up a decent draft pick in the third round
pick.
And then are paying him $40 to $45 million a year for a guy that's just a guy in the NFL.
We argue here all the time with people who want to devalue Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
Or we talk about people on the national talk shows that want to devalue Jalen Hurts.
That say that he's not good, he's a product of the team, blah, blah, blah.
What I want to see what Sam Darnold's going to get paid.
Right.
I want to see what Geno Smith in Vegas. Are you freaking kidding me? You hit Vegas jackpots? We have the jackpot in Jalen Hurts in value. Now it looks, Jalen Hurts, I believe, is now, I was checking the list before the show, I believe he's now 10th or 11th highest paid quarterback in the NFL. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, Super Bowl champion, runner-up for MVP.
And we saw Josh Allen get paid last night.
Yes, we did.
So
a lot of money.
Now, Josh Allen deserves to get every penny he gets, so good for him. But, I mean, are you kidding me? The value we have in Jalen Hurts, it's amazing.
Johnny, Geno Smith, $40 to $45 million. This is before Brock Purdy got his contract. What is that going to do for Brock Purdy? Brock Purdy's going to make 50 plus. If Geno Smith is making 40 to 45. Look, great story. The reclamation project following his time with the Jets. Great story. But he only gets you to a certain level. And if you're the Raiders, like, what are you doing?
You know what he is?
You stink. The Raiders stink. They're very far away from winning, and they're going to pay Geno Smith to be the guy that takes them out of the ashes?
Here's the only thing that I'm going to trust. I'm going to trust that Pete Carroll knows what the hell he's doing. Yeah. I really do. I think he knows. And I think he will be the bridge quarterback.
Absolutely.
But 40 to 45 million, are you kidding me?
Well, so bridge quarterback.
Bridge to what?
But that's the thing. That's a big bridge. $40 to $45 million. That then hurts you in other ways.
It's a big, beautiful bridge we're building, yes. But that's crazy.
Like, there are teams and then players. Max Crosby, you were out when it happened. And
I was out
late last week.
And remember, I was completely out on any one of these high-paid.
I know.
I did not want any of them at the price tags they were going to get, and what you're going to have to do at the age. Crosby a little easier to deal with than the other options.
Than Myles Garrett, which was a lot of money. But here's the deal. Here's my thing for both of them.
Okay.
I'm disappointed in both of them. To lie, I want to go to a winner. I want to go to a winner. I want to go to the winner. Myles Garrett stays with the Cleveland Browns. Max Crosby stays with the Las Vegas Raiders.
So you don't want to go. In other words, you don't.
Yeah, in other words, it was all about money, which, look, if you said from the very beginning, I think I deserve more than what I'm getting paid right now, okay, yeah, probably.
No, they do.
But to lie and do the whole I want to go to a winner thing is baloney, and now I lost respect for both of you.
We were there on Radio Row, and look, if a guy is happy with money, and that's what the bottom line is about their professional career. They want to make every dollar they can. If you rip them for it, you're ridiculous.
Right.
Because if that's their agenda and that's what they want to do, God bless them. Their skills, their talents, whatever. But don't make the Radio Row trip that Myles Garrett did.
And Max Crosby. They were both on Radio Row saying, I want to go to winners.
And sitting down and go, man, I want to play for a winner. I want to be part of a winner. What a bunch of crap.
Yeah.
You know what they saw? Their agents saw the salary cap jump by around 4 or 5 million more minimum than anyone ever expected.
Right.
So they're like, oh, I can get paid. I can hold them up. So they literally put on the ski mask and held up their organizations, and they're willing to be loser organizations.
Yeah. But I'll say this.
Good.
You said if it's all about the money, then it's okay. But then don't, 10 years later, go on a podcast, because this happens all the time in sports. Go on a podcast and go, man, the one thing I wish I had was that ring.
No question. You're right. No, he can never. Myles Garrett, above all, can never do that. You literally just said, because they're going to get, Cleveland may get better. They may get a quarterback. They may get better. But by the time that contract is towards its end, is that when they're going to be relevant for something?
Well, that's the other thing. Like, yeah, maybe in 3 years from now, when the Browns are competitors or the Raiders are competitors, you're not even close.
I think he wasted the last 2 years of his prime.
Yeah.
To do that.
Like, Myles Garrett coming here would still make more sense than going back to Cleveland, but he's back to Cleveland.
Yeah, that's what he wants to do.
So I ask, what are teams doing? What are players doing? I got to ask you this. It's 610-632-0975. Does what you saw happen over the weekend just instill nothing but confidence in you with the Philadelphia Eagles that they continue to just do things right? Saquon and Zach Bond, those contract extensions and the re-signing of Zach Bond makes sense. For the Browns, for the Raiders, yeah, they get to keep a household name that people love, but they're not close to winning. And those players that wanted to win, they're not going to see that in Cleveland and in Vegas. So we would love to hear from you. Does what happened over the weekend instill more confidence in you that the Eagles are just on fire right now, doing everything right? But also, coming up next, could the Eagles do something that we like or dislike? A report yesterday that made it seem like a pretty big name is out. We discuss who next. Kincade Salciunas. Johnny is back from vacation. You're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
97.5 The Fanatic's knockout tournament is back.
Nice to have Johnny not just recording the sponsors anymore, but actually be back, actually deciding to work for a change.
I did decide to come back. It was fun. I taught everyone in the island, go Birds.
Damn right, man.
Because I was getting a lot of go Eagles. From the time we landed to the time, hey, go Eagles. When they would see, because I was wearing some Eagles stuff, I was like, go Birds.
Oh, yeah.
By the time I left the resort, every staff member knew go Birds.
By the way,
did I tell you the story? I did tell you, right? When I got out of the
you told me, yes.
Yeah, we get B-Gun, I don't know if I told you. So we get to the resort, get out of the limo that picks you up at the airport and gives you the transfer to your resort. So, and they do that for everybody. It's not like I'm limoing, if you stay 3 nights, you get the free limo.
Right. You didn't shell out extra cash.
Exactly. So, because Cheapy was not doing that if it wasn't. And so I opened the limo door. It's like a limo SUV.
You didn't specifically ask for Jeeves to come pick you up.
So I open up the limo door out of my side of the car. I'm on the passenger side. And this other limo's pulling up, and it almost hits the door. And I'm like, man, dude, almost hit me. I get out of the car. There's Big Fred Johnson.
Yeah.
Of the
bodyguard right there. And he could be a lot richer by the end of the week.
I hope Fred gets a nice gig. I literally get out of the thing and I go Birds. He go Birds. And recognized me, a little facial recognition, said, how you doing?
Yeah,
good.
But he was probably like, damn it, I said, Eagles fans.
I said, congratulations. I said, congratulations, champ. And so he was one building over from us. But real good dude and by the way, a excellent tipper. So if you already didn't like Fred Johnson, I can just tell you a few of the bartenders said, man's a good tipper.
He seems like a great dude.
He's
all
a great
the
dude.
players talk about him. He's the chattiest one of the group.
He had a smile on his face a mile wide.
That's
great
awesome.
stuff.
Now, somebody that might not be smiling as we transition, Dallas Goedert. Maybe he is, maybe he's not. I don't know where Dallas Goedert wants to be. But last week, Jeff McClain said on his podcast that he does not believe that Dallas Goedert would return. He was speaking to an agent. Was this back at the Super Bowl or was it at the Combine? All right, it was at the Combine. So Jeff McClain spoke to an agent, not Dallas Goedert's agent. At least we don't know. He spoke to an agent that said Dallas Goedert was not going to play another game for the Philadelphia Eagles. And I was like, oh, man, it's kind of disappointing. And then yesterday there was reports that he could be going for a 4th-round pick, and it almost seems like it's going to happen. Josina Anderson reported yesterday, league sources telling her that the Eagles are holding out hope for at least a 4th-round pick for Dallas Goedert in a potential trade, even if the pick was from later years, like 26 or 27. However, a lower pick and more of a salary adjustment is needed for some teams to continue conversations. So by the reading of that tweet, it's almost like, yeah, it's going to happen. It just depends on the compensation at this point. And I'll be honest, man, that disappoints me.
I was hoping Connor would be here today, but I knew he was still one more day down in Florida. He argued this with me on the air. I said I thought that they were going to move on from Dallas Goedert.
I know that you did.
And I believe that, honestly, it's the smart move. I think it's the smart move.
I'm disappointed by it,
Look, there's too much unreliability physically, and he's going to make a ton of money. Like, you got to, I don't understand where he's not how about this? He's not the long-term answer, correct?
No, he's not. He's got a year left on his deal. You were not going
to give him a new contract, right?
The only thing I would have done was added a second year on what he has left, and it's one of those you can get out after next season. I mean, I would have loved to have had him for one more year.
I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, his cap hit this year is $12 million. You're out of your mind. You can't have it. You can't have him at $12 million.
I know the health is a major concern, but man, this guy is...
He's hurt multiple times every year. You can't have a $12 million cap hit.
Spectacular in the playoffs again.
Yeah, but you can't have a $12 million cap hit.
All right, we'll talk about this more coming up next. Also, we'll give you some of the news that happened around the NFL this weekend. We'll discuss what we liked, what we didn't like. Again, I straight up said at the beginning of the show, what the hell are some of these teams doing? What are some of the players doing, re-signing with teams where they said they wanted to go to winning organizations, and yet they're staying with the Browns and the Raiders, which to me is just laughable. But Dallas Goedert could be on his way out. I would hate seeing this. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I would hate seeing Dallas Goedert leaving Philadelphia, and it's not like some Oh, I cherished my memories with Dallas Goedert. I still think the guy can play, and I still think he's a very important part with this offense. So we'll talk more about that next as well. It's Kincade and Salciunas. You can start texting in at 610-632-0975. We'll be right back here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Let the legal tampering begin. I'm Brendan Gunn with your Fanatic Sports Update. Free agency is here around the NFL as the legal tampering period officially opened today. Teams can now contact various pending free agents around the league and work out a deal before officially being allowed to sign them on Wednesday. The Eagles have quite a few names to keep an eye on, including Milton Williams, Josh Sweat, Mekhi Becton, Darius Slay, Isaiah Rodgers, amongst others. We'll keep you updated all day long here on the Fanatic as far as any moves surrounding those names go, or if the Eagles make any moves themselves. One guy who says not to expect a big splash in free agency for the Birds is Rob Motti, who covers them for the AP. He joined the best show ever on Friday and had this to say.
They're coming off a Super Bowl victory. They don't have to spend on a big splash like that at edge rusher with the depth that they have, even with potentially losing Sweat and Milton Williams and Brandon Graham.
The Sixers got back in the win column last night with a 126-122 win over the Utah Jazz. Quentin Grimes and Lonnie Walker each scored 25 points for the team. The Sixers are back on the court tonight as they take on the Atlanta Hawks on the road. You can catch that game live right here on 97.5 The Fanatic starting at 7:30. And the Flyers, they lost to the New Jersey Devils yesterday by a score of 3-1, unfortunately. This update was brought to you by Bradford White Water Heaters. When you need a new water heater, choose one that is built to be the best. Choose Bradford White. I'm Brendan Gunn on the home of the 76ers and the Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
expand on this Goedert thing a little bit more. John Kincade back from vacation. Connor will be back tomorrow. Our man Brendan Gunn producing the show today. So
and Gunn gets to leave the building tonight, 10 o'clock.
Yeah, long day for Brendan Gunn. So why don't you text in and say hello to Brendan Gunn and, of course, answer any of our topics today at 610-632-0975. When you see what the other teams around the NFL are doing, does that just instill more confidence in you with the Philadelphia Eagles that they just do everything what seems to be right? Because there were moves. We'll go through the NFL free agency tracker here momentarily. But before we do that, let's expand a little bit more on the Dallas Goedert thing. I would be borderline devastated to see him go because of the way this offense runs, right? Running the football, and he is a tremendous blocking tight end.
Did you just use the word devastated?
I would be close to devastated.
Okay.
I believe is what I said.
All right.
Or what borderline. Sorry, borderline devastated.
Okay. I'm a little shocked, but I get you. Tell about why again. Why would it move you that much if Dallas Goedert?
Because of how this offense operates, the way that they run the football and his exceptional ability to block, but also they do so many things underneath, and he's a big part of that. That play where we saw him, you believe it saved the season against the New Orleans Saints.
It was the play to me that was the difference between 1-3 and 2-2.
Yeah, and that play is there a lot. And it took some time for Hurts, I believe, this year to really start focusing in on Dallas Goedert. But once he did, all of a sudden his season kind of flipped around, and you really saw it happen, how important he was come playoff time. The Super Bowl was his least productive game because he didn't need to be, right? Because they were just beating up the Chiefs so early and so often. But I would be borderline devastated to see him go. Now, I understand I'm not going to pay him some lucrative deal, and he might be looking for one. But if you could find a way to extend him by one more year and next year be the potential out, obviously he's probably looking for some sort of insurance policy, which is why maybe they're not seeing eye to eye. But when I read the tweet from Josina Anderson yesterday that I read last segment for you all, it seems like it's happening.
A $12 million cap hit is absolutely unacceptable for what Dallas Goedert gives you. As far as he's too fragile, and I mean I'm sorry to say it, but
I understand that
he's too fragile. He gets hurt multiple times. We've had now in the last 3 years. Just go last 3 years. He's missed 5 different gaps of time.
Yeah, he played 10 games last year, 14 the year before that, 12 the year before that, 15 games back in 2021.
Now, back then, yeah, it's still different. Can't have it. And I'm sorry because I really like Dallas Goedert a lot.
No, me too.
I like it a lot.
Yeah.
No. Nope. No,
I just thought he was really important to you in the playoffs, too, man.
I'm sorry to see it go. I swear. I'm sorry to see it go. But gotta go at that number. And I believe he wants a long-term deal. So getting a 1-year extension is not going to do it for him.
My question is, who's given the long-term deal to everything that you just mentioned?
Well, I don't think he's getting
a potential injury-prone tight end at 30 years old.
Then the thing is, too, and I hate that, too. I feel bad for him about injury-prone, but he is injury-prone.
Right.
I don't think he's a malingerer. I don't think he's a guy who doesn't want to play.
No,
I don't think he's not. I don't think he's not tough. I just want a reliable, and I believe you can find tight ends. And by the way, this draft, I think Andrew DeCecco will tell us you can find tight ends.
Well, yesterday when Gunner sent us the text, the tweet, I said that just kind of screams that they're drafting somebody at this point. Like, if they're going to move on from Dallas Goedert, with all due respect to Grant Calcaterra, they're not going to go into the season with Calcaterra as like their main option. It's probably going to be a draft selection at some point. So that's another question that we would love to hear from you at 610-632-0975. The decision to potentially move on from Dallas Goedert for a 4th-round draft pick, I would hate to see it.
And I appreciate everything he's about.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Dallas Goedert's been a fantastic player here. But that doesn't mean that I don't believe that it's the smart thing. A $12 million cap hit, ridiculous.
All right. So some of the moves around the NFL, which goes back to our main topic of, does this instill more confidence in you that the Eagles are just doing everything right? March 7th, the big one, there was a couple of moves that happened, but the big one was Geno Smith being traded to the Raiders. I think this was a home run for Seattle. You move on from Geno Smith, who's apparently going to get paid $40 to $45 million.
Which you weren't going to do.
No.
They weren't going to do
I don't think anybody should, but the Raiders are probably going to do it. And you got a third-round pick in return, and now that opens up the door for, the Sam Darnolds of the world, or you start thinking about the draft. But here's the deal. I mean, they won enough games where they're not in that top 10, and it's not like people are screaming that the quarterbacks are great in this draft class. So they're going to acquire some veteran, it seems like. But here's the deal. You also cut Tyler Lockett, and you traded away DK Metcalf. So you're bringing in who? Sam Darnold to play with Jackson Smith and Jigba?
I'm going to tell you right now, whoever pays the big money contract to Sam Darnold is going to wish they did.
Yeah, I agree.
I'll go on the record.
I agree with you.
I don't believe I do believe he's a good quarterback, but I believe he's going to have a career like Geno Smith as a starter if he goes somewhere.
Yeah.
Not 9-8, 10-7.
Yeah, you're gonna win games.
You're gonna win games. But you're not going to win when you need to win.
Like last week, when the move happened, Ian Rappaport tweeted out major shakeup.
What?
And I quote tweeted saying Geno Smith is a major shakeup, and some guy responded to me, "Well, he's better than what they had last year." I go,
"Well, what does that mean?"
That doesn't mean much. Like they won 4 games last year, so they're probably gonna win 7 or 8. What does that win you anything? No, you might be in the hunt in the last couple of weeks of the regular season.
What, a wild card?
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Is the goal to win, to build something to win a Super Bowl?
Yes.
And if the goal is to do that, you're not doing that with Geno Smith. I don't believe you're doing that.
And that's why I celebrate what the Eagles are doing. Zach Ertz re-signs with the Commanders.
I was surprised by that.
Yeah, because the way he talked, it almost seemed like he was on his way out.
Or like he felt that they weren't going to offer him something. I think that's a move that I went, damn.
Right.
Because I didn't want to see him there. So
on
good.
Saturday, the big news with Myles Garrett obviously extending the contract with the Browns after he said he wanted to go to a winning situation. That was funny. But Davante Adams gets a 2-year deal with the Rams.
What is Davante Adams? 33?
He's up there, man. When I saw 2 years, I said, all right, the agent was able to work in an extra year. He's 32. He'll turn 33 in December.
Okay, so he turns 33 this year. Okay, so I was right on that one. I don't hate it, but I'm not scared of it.
No.
Let's put it that way.
I mean, he's on the tail end.
I mean, he's still a talented guy, but he's not an impact guy anymore.
Right. Harold Landry, a guy that we had eyes on. Remember, the day after the Myles Garrett situation starts, where he says he wants out to go to a winning organization, the next day, Adam Schefter reported that the Titans were going to move on with Harold Landry. And we were saying, wait, that's a Howie move. The big name is Myles Garrett.
Correct.
But here's the sneaky, talented, less expensive player. He ends up rejoining Mike Vrabel with the New England Patriots. So take that name off the list. He's an outside linebacker. So remember, the Eagles do still need an edge rusher on this team. So we'll see what ends up happening once legal tampering begins at noon. We've obviously already talked about the DK Metcalf trade. He goes to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he will be getting footballs thrown to him by me, John.
Really? Yeah.
Who's the quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers? Like, that's the funny thing. I get it. Maybe they're thinking ahead. Maybe they already know who they're going to get. But what, Aaron Rodgers?
Well, Aaron Rodgers is going to be a disaster.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
It's going to be.
All these guys are disasters.
Here's what I'll say. To me, it shows me how desperate other teams are, and I love that.
Desperate to the point of stupidity.
No, but that's fine. I'm fine with other teams being stupid and spending quote-unquote stupid money.
Yeah.
Is John Middleton listening? There you go.
I don't get it. I mean, good for DK Metcalf, I guess. Good for the Steelers. Look, the Steelers got a stud at receiver. It's just Brendan Gunn's throwing passes to him. Which I expect Brendan to be able to complete
one little high school quarterback for you.
Yeah, you could complete like 1 to 2 slant routes. All right, coming up next, we want to hear from you for the first time this morning. You can text in at 610-632-0975. Do the moves around the NFL make you feel even better about the Philadelphia Eagles? Because it just makes me even more and more confident because I see the stupidity that's going around the NFL. And also Dallas Goedert. How would you feel if he's gone? I would be borderline devastated. I don't want to move on from Dallas Goedert just yet. I would love to rework that contract. Would love to hear what you guys are saying here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Mike Missanelli.
My lineup has always been Turner, Harper, Bohm, Schwarber.
text line here in a minute. We're talking about the offseason. Obviously, legal tampering day begins at noon today. So during the Mike Missanelli show, you're going to start hearing a lot of whispers. Last year, when I was on during legal tampering, I was still doing middays. And it was me and Tom Alvord. And right at 12 noon, because, by the way, tampering happens illegally all the time.
So right now, you mean to tell me somebody's tampering right now?
Yeah.
By the way, that's not naughty talk.
No, it's
somebody's
not.
Tampering, right? Listening to the show right now?
Diana Rossini put out at like 12:01. The Eagles and Texans are the final two teams for Saquon Barkley. And I was like, how do we know that at 12:01 they're the only two teams that are in
That's pretty interesting, tampering.
That's interesting. And then Kirk Cousins, all the paperwork was filed at 12:02, and then he said at his press conference that he spoke with the trainers before the tampering period began.
By the way, that was a holdup.
Yeah, I'm sure
that
it was.
Theft.
That was amazing.
That was grand theft.
I can't. And he's out. Yeah, he's out.
Oh my gosh.
But there is some other moves that are going on. The Commanders, and I told you this would happen. Once you put out, we're going to allow Jonathan Allen to find a trade. What happens? Every team goes,
well, we don't want to deal for him.
Wait a minute. You're going to either release him or trade him?
So what are we doing?
We'll just wait.
Why would we pay?
He gets released. So Jonathan Allen back on the open market, which another very talented defensive tackle, but I just don't know how much he's going to cost. He's probably going to get a decent payday.
He's going to get a good
I mean, dude, he's still playing at a very high level. Obviously, he missed some time last year.
I'm shocked that they didn't want to keep him around.
Oh, I'm surprised. That's the thing. Like, I don't get it.
His demands must be high then.
It's just like, you're the Commanders. You finally broke through, right? Like, you had that blip of RG3. You had that little blip of Kirk Cousins with the you like that. And then you're just dog crap again for years. And you get to the NFC Championship game a little ahead of schedule, and you're going to part ways with Jonathan Allen?
I don't understand it either, but...
Now, I'm sure they're going to be active. They have to be. They had like 18 free agents this offseason. Just bringing back Zach Ertz isn't going to be enough for them to try to compete again. Look, hey, whatever. I hope they fail. Go Birds. All right, so what do we have on the text line so far this morning, Gunner? I'm curious to see what the people are saying, not just about the league, but also the Dallas Goedert situation. I'm more, you know me, John. I'm not like a green-colored glasses guy. I hated when the Eagles won the Super Bowl back in 2018, the thank you contracts that they gave out.
Oh, too many.
I hated them. But Dallas Goedert, I would love to see back for another season. What are the people saying?
Yeah, we got Peter and Redding checking in saying Goddard's injuries in the past make the decision a sound financial decision.
I think so, too. Like, And look, I love what Dallas Goedert brought to this team.
Yeah,
I've had a couple interactions with him personally and found him to be a great dude. And I thank him for everything he's done. There's no way I'm letting this team take a $12 million cap hit for this year.
Look, I understand the financial aspect of it, and that's again logical, John, over there.
It's way too logical.
But
yes.
I just think about what he does for this specific offense, and I think that's a piece that you're going to lose. His playoff numbers: four catches, 47 yards, and a touchdown in that Packers game. 4 catches, 56 yards against the Rams in the snow. So that was an important, 4 catches. 7 catches, 85 yards against the Commanders in the blowout. And then he barely did anything in the Super Bowl. Nobody really had to.
How many? If I said to you, honestly, if on last year's team, who would have had the better year, Zach Ertz or Dallas Goedert?
Like if they played for the Eagles?
Yep.
I would probably still go Dallas Goedert because of the blocking aspect.
Well, no,
the he's more important than Zach Ertz is on this offense.
It could be that there's no argument.
Yeah,
that he's the better blocker.
I think this Eagles team was built on physicality, and I think one of the knocks on Zach Ertz is he's not physical at all.
You're right.
No yak Zach.
So I mean that's great.
Respectfully,
that's great
Super Bowl
though.
Champion.
The impact though, as far as I believe you can, if they want to find a blocking tight end. If they want to find a blocking tight end who's not as good at catching the ball as Zach Ertz, there's got to be 5 or 6 in this draft. So that's what if you want to find a blocking tight end, that's easy. Those are easy to find.
Yeah. But what makes Dallas Goedert so special is that he can block, and then it's a play action pass, and then all of a sudden he's downfield, and he could do the things that he does with the ball in his hand.
He can. He's done things.
I mean, that stiff arm that he did against the Green Bay Packers 3 times.
It was awesome. You just got to be, but you got to be available more.
I totally get it.
You can't take a $12 million cap hit.
All right. What else are the people saying this morning?
We got borderline devastated that Dallas Goedert might leave. Might be the craziest thing I hear all week, and it's only 6:39 a.m.
Really?
I'm shocked that you said it.
Are people like that just okay with him leaving?
I'm just shocked you said it. Like borderline devastated?
Yes.
Dallas Goedert's impact on you is that big?
An impact on this offense. Absolutely.
Okay. Tell me who would leave that would gain borderline devastated status for you.
What of the? Well, I mean,
off this roster,
not like AJ Brown, right?
Off this, no, that one you'd be devastated.
No, but I'm talking like
you'd be. If AJ Brown left, we'd be devastated.
Right.
Who would fall into borderline devastated status if they left? If Mekhi Becton leaves.
Yeah, borderline devastated.
I'm not even borderline devastated there.
Oh, dude.
I'm not. I mean, I love what Mekhi Becton did and everything. I don't want to pay Mekhi Becton top dollar. I don't.
Well, what if he'll take a team-friendly deal?
Well, no. If he took a team
possibility.
If he finds that the market is not out there for him to cash in big time, and he comes back on a great deal, I'm all for it. But I'm not going to be borderline devastated if he leaves either.
I feel this Dallas Goedert. Gunner, what about you with the Dallas Goedert?
I don't want them to move on right now because there's nobody there. Like, I don't want to trust a rookie to go out there and do it. Yeah, you could get lucky, but you're built to win now. I almost feel like a 4th-round pick in 2025, 2026, whenever you get it, is not even worth it. I'd rather have the year of Dallas Goedert and maybe work out a way to lower the cap.
Well, here's what Howie Roseman does, right? So if you do move on from Dallas Goedert, the cap hit that John's been talking about, that helps you acquire a player in another area of need, maybe edge rusher, which they do. Edge rusher is pretty important still for this team that they need to acquire. But that draft pick 2-3 years from now or 2 years from now could be used to package at some point in this draft. Because you only have, 5 picks this year?
You only have 5.
So you could use that.
No, you have more than that. I'm
6?
sorry. I think you have 6.
But it's not many.
No.
So you could use that 4th-round pick to move in at some point.
And that's why that's why I think the next few days are going to be very quiet for the Eagles. They're not going to sign anybody that's going to make your eyes bulge out because I think they want the compensatory picks next year.
That's definitely a possibility.
They got to make up for this year's draft. And by the way, I'm happy with it. If we have a quiet free agency week, I think I'm pretty happy. I really am.
Yeah, I'm not expecting anything splashy.
No, but I mean,
I need an edge rusher.
Yeah, we do.
I need an edge rusher. I can't, with all due respect to Nolan Smith and Jalen Hunt, I need one more body because I can't rely on Bryce Huff. All right, we'll continue to check our text line as the show continues, but we'll reset the show coming up next. Just sort of our jumping off point about what other teams around the NFL are doing and how it should make you feel even better about the Philadelphia Eagles, because some of the moves I just don't understand why. It is Kincade and Salciunas here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
You can now officially legally tamper. I'm Brendan Gunn with your Fanatic Sports Update. Free agency is here around the NFL as the legal tampering period officially opened today. Teams can now contact various pending free agents around the league and work out a deal before officially being allowed to sign them on Wednesday. The Eagles have quite a few names to keep an eye on today. Milton Williams, Josh Sweat, Mekhi Becton, Darius Slay, Isaiah Rodgers, amongst others. We'll keep you updated all show long, all day long right here on the Fanatic as far as any moves go with those players, or if the Eagles sign an outside guy, we'll keep you updated on that as well. One guy who says not to expect a big splash in free agency this year is Rob Motti, who covers the NFL for the AP. He joined the best show ever on Friday and had this to say.
They're coming off a Super Bowl victory. They don't have to spend on a big splash like that at edge rusher with the depth that they have, even with potentially losing Sweat and Milton Williams and Brandon Graham.
The Sixers got back in the win column last night with a 126-122 win over the Utah Jazz. Quentin Grimes and Lonnie Walker each scored 25 points for the Sixers. They're back on the court tonight on the road to take on the Atlanta Hawks. You can catch that game live right here at 7:30 tonight. And the Flyers, they lost to the New Jersey Devils yesterday by a score of 3-1. This update was brought to you by Rapid Radios. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com now for 60% off and for UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra 5% off. I'm Brendan Gunn on the home of the 76ers and the Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Ricky Batalico.
You look at this rotation right now.
Wednesday, Johnny. It continues.
Time change bother you at all?
No.
It doesn't bother me either. And I hear people like, man, really struggling with the time change.
Well, it helped that it was a weekend.
Well, it's always a weekend.
Is it?
Yeah, the time change.
I was going to say, if we lost an hour going into like a Monday or a Tuesday.
It's always a Saturday night.
Oh, well, then why do people complain about it?
I have no idea.
I ended up sleeping the same amount. I just woke up an hour earlier.
I honestly, now coming back Saturday, we came back Saturday, so we lost the hour Saturday night. But yesterday evening, when it was like 7:10, 7:12, and it was still a little bit light outside, I got the biggest smile.
Oh, yeah, it's beautiful.
I hate the darkness.
You know what I'm probably thinking of? I used to work Sundays 6 a.m. to noon.
Oh, there you go.
And I was a Temple student, so not only was I staying up late, I was then losing an hour of sleep. Maybe that's what I'm thinking about, because that sucked. By the way, it's Football Monday, Championship Monday, presented to us by our friends at Pierce Phelps Bryant Heating and Air Conditioning Contractors. Visit nopaybryant.com. And, Johnny, you missed it last week. Knockout.
And I did miss, by the way.
You missed.
I missed a lot. Like unless I went back and did pull out the iPad in the room
for a little bit,
just a little before going to dinner or something, I was off the grid.
Yeah,
so
I don't blame you.
I was reading stuff last night and yesterday and being like appalled.
We announced that Knockout returning Wednesday, March 26th. So 16 days from now. Here's what we've been doing, because the phone lines are still not necessarily operating.
I read about that too on the flight home. I like that.
Which story did you read?
I read that. Look, it's fun. We love interacting with everybody. And the text line's great. The phone lines are great, whatever it is. But you can do it without phones.
Yes, you can.
Yes.
So the way that we're doing this for Knockout, if you go to the website, 975thefanatic.com, and go to the contest page, you can enter the keyword JAM today for our show. So here's what we've been doing. We've been doing a keyword for the mornings, a keyword for middays, keyword for afternoons.
Okay.
But you have all 4 hours. So it's not like...
Oh, okay, good.
It's not like you have to go to the website right this second. So if you're busy right now, just put in a note on your phone, JAM, J-A-M.
So that's good till the end of our show?
Till the end of our show.
JAM.
And we will have a winner, pair of tickets to Sixers-Wizards on the 26th, and, of course, a spot in Knockout after the game.
And if you're good... one of those teams may sign you.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm serious. They might sign you.
One of the key words last week was brick. I may have had fun with that word for both teams.
Stephen A. Smith's character on General Hospital.
That's where your brain goes. Mine goes to missing shots.
By the way, you see he got in his new contract. He got less time on ESPN, but still the permission to do General Hospital.
That's good work by him.
Good job.
That's a good hustle.
So Brick needs it.
You're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN, WPN, HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group Station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. What we're talking about today is what the Eagles are doing and whether or not it instills more confidence in you, because you also see what other teams are doing, like the Pittsburgh Steelers, who do not have a quarterback, signing DK Metcalf to a 5-year, $150 million contract, while also giving up a second-round pick in order to acquire him. Myles Garrett and Max Crosby, two guys who wanted to go to contenders, decided to stay home. Oh, by the way, if you think about the teams themselves, the haul that the Browns and Raiders both could have gotten, two teams that are rebuilding, two teams that aren't close to winning. I'm surprised the teams were so aggressive in extending Myles Garrett, especially to the amount that he got.
Or do you think that they found that the market wasn't there for people wanting to pay that extension?
Could be.
I wouldn't pay that extension.
No, it was a lot of money.
I'm not paying that extension for
highest
a guy
paid non-quarterback in NFL history.
Who's not going to play a playoff game for you till he's in his 30s. No. That's not smart money. And I know everybody was all Myles Garrett down. By the way, it was never happening. It was never.
Shefty was very adamant about that last week when you were gone.
It was the Juan Soto talk of Phillies fans last year. That was never happening. Myles Garrett was never happening. But the thing is, I'm glad it wasn't happening.
Yeah.
I'm thrilled.
You didn't want it to happen.
No. Why do you want to? Why? You've built this great foundation of your house, and you have your books in order, and you have your salary cap in order. No, well, let's push the limited draft picks we got and money, because we just got to go get the Myles Garrett.
I wanted the in-ground pool, Johnny.
Well, guess what? At this point, I want them to be fiscally responsible. I love it.
Well, I'm
so happy.
Screw it. You only live once. That's why I wanted to go for that in-ground pool. And then obviously like another move, Devontae Smith going to the Rams. I don't know what he has left.
Devontae Smith went to the Rams?
I'm sorry, Devontae Adams.
You just scared everybody.
I'm sorry. Devontae Adams goes to the Rams. I don't know what the Rams really think about doing.
See, I don't mind that move for the Rams because Cooper Kupp's gone.
Right.
So,
what does Devontae Adams have left? We're talking about Dallas Goedert if he's 900 years old.
Devontae Adams has more than Cooper Kupp.
Okay.
That's to me. He has more than Cooper Kupp. But again, it's a short move. By the way, heard a rumbling. I did hear a rumbling.
What do we got?
From somebody that reached out to me during the break, and I found it not during this break, during the break when I was away. Mm-hmm. Don't be so sure to assume the Lions for opening night. That it could be the Rams.
Interesting.
That might be the game they decide to go with, but they have to see the starting, see how everything else shakes out. Now that Stafford's back, Rams are absolutely back in the mix.
I can totally see
for that opening game.
Now we can see what would have really happened if it wasn't snowing. It's that's the ploy that they're doing.
It's 90 degrees tonight because remember last time,
even playing
the violent thunderstorms on opening night.
Yeah.
Hopefully we don't have that this time.
All right, so you were gone last week, and Saquon Barkley was extended. Zach Bond brought back 3-year deal worth $51 million, which ended up being perfect for what we were saying. He's not Fred Warner, right? He's not Tremaine Edwards.
What did I say? Fourth?
Yep.
As long as he's not paid like the top 3 guys, I'm fine.
And he
came in, fourth or fifth?
Fourth.
He comes in fourth. It's perfect.
It worked out perfectly.
And I'm thrilled that he's back.
Yes, me too.
I'm thrilled that he's back.
So what was your reaction when you saw the news, both Saquon Barkley and Zach Bond?
By the way, a 1-1 was broken to me because I was wearing my Eagles Super Bowl champion hat in the pool.
As you should.
My wife broke the Zach Bond to me.
Okay.
The other news, the Saquon news, was broken to me by a guy walking by the pool going, "Go Birds."
So
that was good. So I heard that one. So Saquon news always happens in a pool.
When you're gone.
When I'm gone.
Yeah.
And I love it. And I think that Saquon move, well, first off, rewards him, helps this year's cap, and extends it so it's really a 2-year deal.
It's really a 2-year deal, yeah.
So I'm fine.
Just like it was originally. The original contract was a 2-year deal.
Now it just moves them out, so it's a 2-year deal.
And it freed up cap space.
So it's 25 and 26 for Saquon, and they could be out of it in 27.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, Saquon might put 2 great years together. It could be on his way to putting on the gold jacket and being done with it.
Could be.
We don't know.
And then the other one, I don't want to say disrespectfully forget James Bradbury, but forget James Bradbury for a second. And we will get to the podcast.
We'll get to all that.
But the Darius Slay kind of expected. We knew that they were going to release him, and then we will see if they bring him back or not. But yeah, that was kind of expected.
Yeah, I'm not expecting that move to happen.
Well,
but we'll get into that later on. Not expecting it.
Just in case people didn't see it.
Not expecting that to happen.
The Expo Center at Oaks had the big signing autograph day, all the Eagles players. Was it on purpose?
They were numerical.
Okay.
It was numerical. And I guess they didn't want to have Jake Elliott out signing autographs this year. The pen might have kept falling out of his hands.
Darius Slay and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, for those of you who didn't see it, their tables were right next to each other when they were signing the autographs at the Expo Center the other day. And I found that to be beautiful. Like, I loved it. And I wonder, are there any first-hand accounts was there any interaction between the two?
By the way, there was. There was, and it was supposedly mildly friendly looking.
Okay.
Mildly friendly looking.
Because you know what ended up probably happening? They talked it out like men offline.
No, but they didn't. No, it wasn't overly friendly, but it was a mild interaction, and it was not long.
I'm sure it wasn't, but hopefully one of them talked to each other offline. Keep it offline. Everybody. This is not just a CJ Slay thing. This is everybody in the world.
And I'm sure
don't put your personal business out there.
I'm sure Gilly the Kid was trying to step in and mediate as a member of the team.
No, he's not.
He was all the hat he wears.
He was all over the place. Damn right, man. He was all over the place.
By the way, it devalues the helmet.
All right, coming up next,
that devalues your helmet.
We will check our text line some more on today's topics. But also, Johnny, maybe you can help me, even though you kind of already made your point clear that you're not going to overpay what you believe could be overpaying Mekhi Becton. I want to send a message out to Mekhi Becton because I did lose a ton of respect for Myles Garrett and Max Crosby this past week when they talked about wanting to play for a contender, both of them, and they both just ended up taking the bag. Like you said, if that was their plan from the beginning and they were honest about it, all right, so be it. But I better not hear 10 years from now on a podcast, man, what I would have done for a ring. What do you mean what you would have done for a ring? You had a chance to leave for a competitor. I will speak from my heart to Mekhi Becton next, Johnny. It is Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Tyrone Johnson.
I don't understand the sentiment of we won a Super Bowl, so let's...
I want to speak to Mekhi Becton. And I'm going to say this, from my heart, because I fell in love with Mekhi Becton, John. Not only how talented he was at right guard, but his story.
You like a big,
beautiful.
strong man.
Damn right,
too, which is good. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
I want him to be able to carry me up the stairs, right?
Exactly.
Like if I'm lazy and I don't feel like walking.
Right.
Mekhi Becton.
Across the threshold.
I fell in love with him, obviously, with the emotion that he showed when the Eagles won the NFC East. Not the divisional round of the playoffs, just winning the division. You saw the emotion, the tears pouring from his face because he realized he came to a great situation. Jeff Stoutland, shout out to Nick Sirianni, who actually was the first one to suggest maybe moving him to right guard and giving it a shot. Obviously, Becton deserves all the credit in the world for being able to do it, but he came home to a great situation.
I saw what you did there. It's good.
What?
No, it's like that. It's good. I'm always teaching you that he gets the first.
Oh, yeah. He worked his ass off.
Becton did, and it's great.
One of the stories I imagine you may not have read while you were gone, and I don't blame you for not reading much on sports.
I didn't.
Tim McManus wrote a beautiful article. I would suggest you maybe during the next break to look at it on Mekhi Becton and the transformation of his body when he came to Philadelphia, weighing close to 400 pounds and getting down to 340, getting down to a playing shape. How do
you lose 60 pounds?
It was like over the course of maybe the last 2 seasons. Because remember, he got hurt with the Jets. He's already a big boy. And then he ballooned up some more, and then he loses 60 pounds. Brendan reminded us on Friday when we were going through the article. Remember the vomit tracker? Opening day of training camp last year, how he kept on puking on the sideline. Like he was giving it his all. And then obviously the beautiful moment of him winning the Super Bowl with his son, on his lap, looking at the confetti and just tears pouring down his face. And so when I read the story from Tim McManus, there were quotes from Mekhi Becton and how his life changed with the Philadelphia Eagles. C.J. Uzomah, who played with Becton on the Jets, talked about how much he is seeing the real Mekhi Becton with the Philadelphia Eagles. He played his way to what could be a decent contract. He did. Very well deserved for how he played. And so if he does take a contract somewhere, I don't blame him. I'm not going to be angry with him. I'm not going to lose respect. The reason why I lose respect for Myles Garrett and Max Crosby is them saying, I want to go to a contender. They stay with both the Browns and the Raiders, and it's not like they won anything. Mekhi Becton has a ring. So he can't say 10 years from now, I wish I got a ring, because he got one.
Yes.
But what he could say is, I wish I never left. And the Philadelphia Eagles have shown you now, time and time again, that they are not only a great organization in terms of success on the field, but what they have done for their players. Zach Bond talked about it earlier this year, how he was able to be himself. He was not himself with the New Orleans Saints. He admitted to transferring in high school because he didn't feel comfortable in his own skin at the first high school he went to. He was able to become himself the second high school he went to. Same with now the Saints and the Philadelphia Eagles. When you hear all these stories about how great it is here,
the culture,
and Mekhi Becton went from a horrible culture with the Jets, there's no guarantee that wherever you go, it's going to be as good as the Philadelphia Eagles. And if that's important to you, Mekhi, if that is important to you, culture and success and playing at the top of your game, I would love it if you stayed. And it's not like it's going to be a $10 million difference. He's probably going to still get paid handsomely by the Philadelphia Eagles. It just might not be as much. I saw the Indianapolis Colts as a potential suitor for Mekhi Becton. That's great. Go to a team that's probably not going to win anything. And if you do that, you might end up feeling regret. Okay, and I wonder if Becton sees what happened here. He's still going to get paid good money. I would love it for him to stay, and I think it would be important to him the way he's talked about it.
Well, here's what we know for a fact this morning. And this is something that you can just take as a fact for any Eagles player who is out there today. Either the Eagles' offer isn't good enough for him to stay, the Eagles didn't make an offer for him to stay.
Because Tyler Steen's here.
Or he didn't, he wants to see what's out there and decide. I think that's the option. I think he wants to see what's out there. And then
he's a free agent. He's every right to.
And he deserves it. But I would have the same advice that you have there, though.
Yeah. I'm not angry if he leaves.
No, not at all. You'd be happy for him.
Yeah.
But I do believe that if the Eagles wanted the Mekhi Becton deal to be done, it would be done.
Yeah.
It'd already be done.
And so do me a favor. During the commercial break, I want you to read that story because when I read
am I going to fall in love with him too?
Well,
because then we'd have a love triangle.
I think you're
I mean, those are big on GH, by the way. General Hospital's tons of them. Yeah, the love triangle, you can always see them coming to.
But when you read the quotes from him, but also his teammates, but like the Uzoma one meant something because they played with each other in New York. And then they, of course, were teammates here, even though Uzoma was kind of a role player here. He saw how Mekhi Becton was able to become himself here. And one of the cool parts of the story, there's a photo in it when they were at the Saturday Night Live. And Uzoma said, that's something that Becton never would have done with the Jets. Like he was in his shell. He was able to be himself with the Philadelphia Eagles. The picture, he makes Jordan Mailata look like a child.
Oh, I'm telling you.
And I'm like, dude, that guy's a big,
gigantic.
Guy's a big dude. So look, Mekhi, I know you might be listening. I doubt it. Would love for him to come back.
Why would you doubt it? I mean, don't doubt it. So it was good.
He might. By the way, the Adam Schefter just put out a tweet 2 minutes ago. The Steelers continue talking to Justin Fields and Russell Wilson, but Aaron Rodgers has emerged as a quarterback option in Pittsburgh.
Oh, jeez.
Rodgers and the Steelers are expected to talk and explore a union. The idea of Rodgers playing for Mike Tomlin is in play.
Why in the world does Mike Tomlin want to bring on that nonsense? Mike Tomlin's going to want what's going on in his locker room on Front Street every week with Pat McAfee?
Yeah, oh my God, yeah.
Are you serious? It's a clown show.
By the way, so does this categorize as illegal tampering or legal tampering?
No, that's legal.
Oh, no, it doesn't start till noon.
Yeah, it's still. Now, what he's hearing.
Yeah, what he's hearing.
I'm hearing things.
Yeah, what he's hearing is that they already spoke.
Exactly.
Illegally. Stupid rule.
It's unbelievable.
All right, coming up next, we'll once again take a look at our text line at 610-632-0975. Are what the Eagles doing versus what the other teams in the NFL are doing making you feel even more confident about the Birds? Also, NBC Sports Philadelphia, we'll go through this next. They did a list of the cap casualties around the NFL and who makes sense with the Eagles. We'll go through that list coming up next. It's Kincade and Salciunas. Good to have Johnny back here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Let the legal tampering begin. I'm Brendan Gunn with your Fanatic Sports Update, and it is brought to you by Corona. Want to win tickets to a Sixers game? Enter for a chance to win at the Fanatic's Corona Sixers pregame party events happening all season long, hosted by our man, Andrew Salciunas. For details, go to the events page on 975thefanatic.com. Free agency is officially here around the NFL as the legal tampering period officially begins today at noon. Teams can now contact various pending free agents around the league and work out a deal before officially signing them to deals on Wednesday. The Eagles have quite a few names to keep an eye on, including Milton Williams, Josh Sweat, Mekhi Becton, Darius Slay, Isaiah Rodgers, amongst others. We'll keep you updated all day long here on The Fanatic as far as any moves go with the Eagles and if they make a splash with an outside free agent. The Sixers, they got back in the win column last night with a 126-122 win over the Utah Jazz. Quentin Grimes and Lonnie Walker each scored 25 points. The Sixers are back on the court tonight on the road to take on the Atlanta Hawks. You can listen to that game live right here on The Fanatic starting at 7:30. And the Flyers, they lost to the New Jersey Devils yesterday by a score of 3-1. This update was also brought to you by AAA Car Care. Come into your local AAA Car Care Center and save $40 on any repair of $150 or more. Offer valid through March 31st. Details at AAA.com/mycar. I'm Brendan Gunn on the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Bill Colarulo.
Debo alone doesn't scare me. He played
726 on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. Good to have my man John Kincade back in the saddle.
I'm glad to be back, too. Like, I like the 1 week vacation.
Yeah.
But, like, I'm ready to come back then after that.
Yeah.
Some people are like, oh, I could use 2 weeks. No, I'd rather spread it out. I'd rather know there's another week coming later.
Until you retire.
Later.
And then you get to do that stuff
golf
every single day.
Dude.
By the way, real quick before we get back to our Eagles and the NFL discussion, Sixers lost last night. And by lost, I mean they won.
Yeah, I heard.
They beat the Jazz yesterday, 126-122. They improved their record to 22 and 41.
So now they're sixth worst record, I believe.
Yes, and obviously top six protected. But
they would have been fifth if they lost.
Correct.
What are they doing?
Well,
I mean, I've been asking.
The Jazz have 15. So the Jazz suck more. The Jazz are just really bad. Even with everybody out, they're still better than the Jazz because the Jazz are a horrible basketball team. But
it's horrifying to me though that it's a bad situation.
They're gonna lose a lot of games.
Daryl Morey believes all we want to do is complain, right?
Well, guess what?
There's
a lot to complain about.
Keep giving the fan base stuff to complain about, and they're going to complain.
There's a lot to complain about.
They have a lot to say.
They damn right they do.
And they should.
So NBC Sports Philadelphia put together a list of cap casualties, but real quick, as we are reaching legal tampering period at 12 o'clock, already news flowing. Adam Schefter reporting that the Patriots have traded Davon Godchaux to the Saints. So Kellen Moore already making moves, defensive tackle in exchange for a 2026 7th-round pick. So that's basically nothing.
Contract situation was coming up for him too.
Yeah, and he went to LSU, so he's back. He's back, in the New Orleans area, Louisiana area.
He's going to put on 25 pounds because God knows I did. I don't know about you.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
A lot of eating.
So there's going to be trades that are going to be happening today. It's not just about free agency. Trades are allowed to happen at any point. But legal tampering begins today at noon. So in the NFL, obviously players are already being released by their specific teams, one of which former Eagle Javon Hargrave. I know a lot of people have eyes on him.
Not Eagle fans. Don't tell me. Was that conversation
Bill
last week?
Colarulo's pretty big on bringing back Hargrave.
What?
Oh, he'll be he's replacing Milton Williams. I just don't know what he's going to cost.
He's not going to get no.
He's not going to be that much money.
I don't want to get old either. Don't get older.
Well, it's a rotational piece.
No, I don't need it.
Okay.
And remember do you remember what he did when he walked out of here?
Oh yeah.
We wouldn't have won the NFC title game if Purdy played.
Yep.
Kiss my back.
Oh no, he's a turncoat. I'm anti-Javon Hargrave.
Seriously, kiss my backside.
He was a turncoat. I hate that.
Go.
Because imagine.
Why is Bill advocating for that?
Maybe he forgot about those quotes. Imagine going to war with somebody, and then they go to the other side behind enemy lines.
And then they start talking trash.
Yeah.
Give me a break.
I didn't like it when he left. Jonathan Allen, he's going to get paid. I can't imagine.
What do you think he's going to get paid?
I don't know. I mean, he's 30. He's a defensive tackle, so he's not going to get paid what Myles Garrett got, obviously, as an edge rusher. But I think he's going to get.
Is he going to get paid what Milton Williams gets? No.
No, because Williams is younger, but I don't think. I think he's going to be too expensive for the Eagles to get him.
Well, I don't think they're after him anyway.
Draymond Jones, 28-year-old.
Is he 28?
Okay. Yeah, he was drafted by Vic Fangio when he was in Denver.
Okay.
So maybe something to keep an eye on.
All right, now that's not going to break the bank.
Raekwon Davis, another defensive tackle who had connections with Fangio because he was with the Miami Dolphins when Fangio was
he one of the whiners in Miami? Or
that's a good question. I'm not sure.
Yeah, because we don't know.
But great work by always is from Dave Zangaro. Saying that might not be as much of a fit just because he's not much of a pass rusher. And so you need the replacement to Milton Williams.
Right, like Hargrave. You don't need the...
Right.
That's why we don't need Hargrave here.
This article was obviously before Harold Landry got traded. He goes to the New England Patriots.
That's a good deal, by the way.
Yes, it is. I'm against Joey Bosa.
I am totally against it.
The guy can't. You want to talk about Dallas Goedert not being able to stay healthy? This guy's even more injury prone.
But he's productive. He's still productive.
Kind of.
He's still productive.
Kind of.
But I can't trust the non-productivity.
Now
can't do it.
Here's two names that
the injury situation.
Here's two names that might tickle your fancy. because you're Mr. I want a veteran running back here to be the backup to Saquon Barkley. Jamal Williams was released by the Saints, and Raheem Mostert was released by the Dolphins. So he's 32. Jamal Williams is 30.
Jamal Williams would be more of a tickling the fancy.
Yeah.
But I would listen to either one of them because I believe they're going to get one-year deals.
I think Mostert makes sense, too. You're not going to ask him to
you're gonna get
carry the bulk of carries.
He's going to get one-year deal. He's going to be a change of pace back. No, I'd be interested on either one of them, and I'm going to be shocked if they don't do that. I will be shocked.
Unless they think really highly of Shipley.
We're going to find out. I don't want to offend our man Andrew Pacheco because he knows more than I do about it, and he works hard at it.
He's a big Shipley guy. The rookie Shipley diary, man.
I don't believe that if you had to go 4 games with Shipley, that's what the Eagles are going to say they're okay with.
All right. What are the people saying on the text line this morning, Brendan? Again, our topics. If you want to chime in about Dallas Goedert, feel free at 610-632-0975. How would you feel if he was indeed traded for a 4th-round pick instead of trying to find a way to rework a deal where maybe you extend it by a year, but it's really just a 1-year deal? But overall, when you see what teams in the NFL are doing that seem to be very far away from being competitors, and they're making moves as if they're going to win now, or they're making moves as if Geno Smith is a franchise quarterback, which I laugh at. Does it make you feel better about what the Eagles have done and continue to do? Because if anything, these moves are just making me feel more confident about the Birds. And this is obviously before free agency begins. We'll see what big splash happens midway through the week. But remember, one of the concerns about Myles Garrett was what if he went to the Detroit Lions? That's now off the table.
Those are off. Other teams didn't go grab him.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, I would look. Miles Garrett ends up in Detroit. I would have been concerned.
That would have been terrifying.
I'm not acting
with
like
Aiden Hutchinson on the other end.
I'm not acting like I didn't believe he was a great impact player. I just didn't want the Eagles to pay for it.
Yeah, you didn't want them to go against what has been working. So what are we saying on the text line?
Yeah, we got Sinclair checking in saying, I didn't expect to splurge in free agency to begin with, so any move outside of Landry didn't really impact us in my mind. I still think Khalil Mack is the quote-unquote biggest move they make. Regardless of what other teams do, I feel good about us because we have a stable core and can easily build off of it.
Yeah, the Khalil Mack's got a lot of buzz. I think a lot of teams will be interested in Khalil Mack.
I think Khalil Mack because it's going to be a short-term deal.
Yeah, he's 34. He's still somewhat productive. I'm sure there's a lot of teams. We just mentioned, why wouldn't the Detroit Lions be in on Khalil Mack, right? They're not going to have to rely on him to do a bunch because Aiden Hutchinson's going to be your sort of almost every down edge rusher.
You think he fits well with what Fangio wants to do? That's what I was trying to figure out the other day, and that's where when DeCecco joins us tomorrow.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
We know that he can get home, and Fangio does not like to
he doesn't like
extra.
the blitz, right?
So the question is, can you utilize him to drop back into coverage sometimes, which the Eagles do. Vic Fangio does do. I would be lying to you if I said I knew how Khalil Mack did in coverage.
I know that DeCecco will have that answer for
Yes, he absolutely would. What else we got?
Yeah, somebody's checking in. First-time texter, no name on it, but they want to know if you guys have any interest in a Von Miller.
No,
because of allegations.
Yes,
and it's allegations that I
don't want any part of.
Yeah, no. I was actually kind of surprised in Lane Johnson yesterday, if I'm being honest with you. He put out the tweet with the waving emoji and tagged Von Miller in it.
Yeah, I was a little surprised.
That's me against it.
No, that's us, right?
But the Eagles are pretty clear that they have been against it, like domestic violence. And so I know that it's allegations. He was suspended, so clearly something.
Yep.
It's not something that I would necessarily feel comfortable doing.
No, I would not.
So
wouldn't feel comfortable.
No.
Plus, two, when you throw a party, you don't ask teammates to pay for it. Come to your party.
Dude, I remember that story.
That's one of the worst stories I've ever heard as far as a guy making millions of dollars.
And it was the rookies.
Charging like rookies for like your food and stuff like that to come to the party. That's terrible.
If I'm not mistaken, McNabb did that before too.
Oh, that's bad.
And, it's not like he's...
And I'm sure Shady...
I love you, Five.
I'm sure Shady did it from... By the way, I did see the video from Shady McCoy. More dissing of Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, I'm
tired of it.
Oh, Chase Daniel went right back to it.
I'm tired. Well, he's a one-trick pony, and his one trick
No,
is...
but like they win the Super Bowl, and it's the time to start putting respect on his name. And then you wait like a week, and you're already ripping the guy again.
He's a half-trick pony.
All right, coming up next, man, oh man, you mentioned it earlier. Josh Allen got paid. What does the Josh Allen extension mean for other quarterbacks in the NFL? Jalen Hurts. It's Kincade and Salciunas here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Mike Missanelli, Bill Colarulo, and Ray Dunn. They have a...
Monday, Championship Monday, here on Kincade Salciunas 97.5. The Fanatic, presented to us by Pierce Phelps, Bryant Heating and Air Conditioning Contractors. Visit nopaybryant.com. Again, today's key word for your chance to get into the Fanatic Knockout Tournament Wednesday, March 26th is JAM. J-A-M. Enter it on 97.5thefanatic.com. Somebody just came back from Jamaica.
We're jamming.
See,
Thank God I didn't have to hear that 5,000 times.
I would have loved it.
You know what, though? No. You would have liked this. They had like entertainment, and they had live entertainment at the what they call the loud pool and the quiet pool.
Okay, yeah.
And at the loud pool, they had live entertainment. They had these group of performers, and they were doing like a reggae rap with almost like a calypso sound to it.
Sure,
it was fantastic.
Hell yeah, man!
It was absolutely fantastic, and I was like, I like it better than listening to reggae.
Yeah, look.
It was more upbeat.
I love upbeat music, man. I don't care how it is.
It was more upbeat and absolutely amazing.
When you hear jam, so your first thought is jamming.
We're jamming. Well, I'm married to a Jamaican.
My first thought is Lavi.
Ah, okay.
From what was it called? Flyers? Was it called Flyers 24? I forget what the show was called. I loved it.
Okay.
Time to start playing with some jam in here. Let's go.
Jam.
Actually, that's where I go. With jam. All right, and of course there's strawberry jam and all those jams.
Well, grape, Concord grape for me. Thank you.
So Josh Allen yesterday signs an extension. You guys ready for this one? 6 years, $330 million, $250 million guaranteed. $250 guaranteed, Johnny. Largest guaranteed contract ever in the history of the NFL.
I think, as I tease about Bigfoot, do not mistake the fact that I think he is freaking awesome.
He's excellent.
And you talk about a face of a franchise. He's everything the franchise could want.
Well, and he surpasses the previous guaranteed contract of $230, which was given to a face that you don't want to be the face of your franchise, in Deshaun Watson. He got the $230 2 years ago. Patrick Mahomes had the biggest contract with the $450 million overall, but not all of it obviously guaranteed in the way that they made the contract work. But Josh Allen, $250 million guaranteed, obviously an excellent player. He still had 4 years left on his deal. The only quarterback that still has a higher average annual salary, the AAV, is Dakota Prescott. So big difference between Deshaun Watson and Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Dak Prescott, Josh Allen. You're right. He deserves to get paid.
Dakota Prescott sounds like a stripper. Dak sounds like a quarterback. And now on the main stage, Dakota. By the way, I loved. It must have happened while we were away. I loved it.
We will get to it.
Loved Dakota
it was
getting
amazing.
grief.
And there's people that are shedding tears over it, which I find it to be hilarious. But Josh Allen getting paid also now changes everything.
Okay.
So there have been people on social media that have already been suggesting that the Eagles reworked the contract of Jalen Hurts. This was before, I think my man John Barchard actually was one of the first people I saw suggesting it, that the Eagles should do it. This was before the Josh Allen news comes down. Because now Jalen Hurts, who's a Super Bowl champion, could be getting a lot more money down the road. He's obviously under contract through 2028, so they don't have to do it. But Josh Allen had 4 years left on his deal. Patrick Mahomes at one point had multiple years left on his deal when they reworked the deal. So don't be surprised if soon, even though Jalen Hurts wants to win, and we know how much once a quarterback gets paid, it's hard to continue to win. I wouldn't be surprised if soon, maybe not this year, but soon they start reworking something.
Oh, I think it'll be next offseason.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think next offseason they would, you just start to get ahead of it. But also, too, you see how next year goes, too. And if they're winning 12, 13 games again, it's a guarantee that you're going to do that, no pun intended.
But it's just amazing that this is where it's going. And for Josh Allen, it makes sense. For Jalen Hurts, it will make sense. For Patrick Mahomes, it has made sense. The contracts, you know how much I've talked about it around the NFL with quarterbacks that don't make sense. Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert, what will be Brock Purdy, in my opinion. And Brock Purdy will get paid more than what Geno Smith just got, or what will get, which is $40 to $45 million per year. They're thinking a 3-year deal. Like, that's crazy for Geno Smith.
It's crazy.
Josh Allen, all right, I get it. It's still wild that they're setting historic marks year in and year out as the cap continues to go up and the league keeps on making more and more money. But that's insane.
I heard that, too, as Tom Brady has to sign off on it. So Tom Brady sees something in him.
Yeah.
That he says this is the good guy to have in there. Good teammate. good teammate. Maybe that's part of it. I don't know.
Geno Smith, I
but I'm not paying that to Geno Smith.
No, hell no. The Seahawks, I think, won. Trading him away and not paying him?
Well, supposedly now going and reading the stuff that they had on Connor lookalike. I'm drawing a blank from
Sam Darnold.
No, the quarterback from the 23 Eagles, 22 Eagles.
Gardner Minshew. That
just not a good younger players. You don't want them learning from him.
Got it. Yeah, makes sense.
You don't want people because he's a bit unorthodox. And he's a bit that the Raiders organization is like, yeah, great guy, but you don't want a young quarterback being tutored by Gardner.
But now here's where I'll find this interesting. So Geno Smith's your answer. I get it. Probably great leader.
What? Okay.
Is leadership worth $45 million? I've seen Ryan Fitzpatrick be a bridge for like $5 million. It kills your team. Like they can't do much else. They're going to draft, and they're going to hope that they hit. And then once they hit, they hope that maybe they have a quarterback waiting in the wings when Geno Smith's off the books. But, man, I see what's going on with some of these teams in the NFL, and I laugh, A, and then B, it makes me feel so much better about the Eagles. Now, eventually, you're going to have to pay Jalen Hurts, and I know it sounds crazy to be talking about it, but what the Bills did yesterday with Josh Allen 4 years before his contract's up, it's time to start thinking about it with Jalen.
I like that it's smart, though. I like that they're doing that.
Yeah, because it's just going to keep going up. Like, the money's just going to keep on going up. That's why we celebrate Howie Roseman for always kind of being ahead of these things. What are the people saying on the text line about our topics today?
Yeah, we got Ryan in Florida checking in, says it's kind of hard to pass up a fourth-round pick for Goedert, but even harder to imagine the Eagles, who have always valued the tight end position going into next year with Calcaterra or a rookie with that stacked offense. I do believe Goedert is more valuable to us than he would be anywhere else, but do guys like Evan Ingram or Michael Mayer from the Raiders interest you guys
Yeah, so
at
when
all?
I saw Evan Ingram pop up,
that's
I wasn't so, my first thought was, all right, Eagles, when all the Dallas Goedert whispers was happening. But the deal is he's also 30 years old.
Well, that's exactly what Goedert is, right?
Right, but if you're moving on from Goedert,
you're not going to pay him a big deal, right?
Probably not. Ingram played 9 games last year. It's not like he was Mr. Beacon of Health. He has been consistent on the field when he was with the Giants in the first couple of years with the Jets, but I don't know. Like, if anything, I'm drafting the replacement of Dallas Goedert, and I'm just saying, hey, Grant, time's yours, man. And Calcaterra was good last year, just in a limited capacity. I don't know what he would be like over the course of 17 games when you have a team that's built to compete for another conference championship, if not beyond.
And not for nothing, he gets his bell rung one more time. Like, he could be gone for good.
Yeah, I mean, he considered retirement before he even entered the draft, and he did ultimately end up in the draft, and I'm sure he's thrilled to have won a Super Bowl.
There's no way they're going forward with Calcaterra being the number one option.
No, they would draft a tight end.
It's not happening.
And probably in the second round.
Sure.
That's something that the Eagles do often. All right, we'll reset the topics coming up next. Today's headlines with Brendan Gunn around 8:15 this morning. It is Kincade and Salciunas, the return of Johnny the K here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Legal tampering starts today. I'm Brendan Gunn with your Fanatic Sports Update. Free agency is here around the NFL as the legal tampering period officially opens today at 12 noon. Teams can now contact various pending free agents around the league and work out a deal before officially being allowed to sign them on Wednesday. The Eagles have quite a few names to keep an eye on, including Milton Williams, Josh Sweat, Mekhi Becton, Darius Slay, Isaiah Rodgers, amongst others. We'll keep you updated all day long here on The Fanatic as far as any moves go surrounding those names, or if the Eagles contact any other outside free agents as well. One guy who says not to expect a big splash this free agency period is Rob Motti, who covers the NFL for the AP. He joined the best show ever on Friday and had this to say.
They're coming off a Super Bowl victory. They don't have to spend on a big splash like that at edge rusher with the depth that they have, even with potentially losing Sweat and Milton Williams and Brandon Graham.
The Sixers got back in the win column last night with a 126-122 win over the Utah Jazz. Quentin Grimes and Lonnie Walker each scored 25 for the Sixers. They're back on the court tonight on the road to take on the Atlanta Hawks. Listen to that game live right here on The Fanatic starting at 7:30. And the Flyers, they lost both games this weekend yesterday to the New Jersey Devils by a score of 3-1. This update was brought to you by Bradford White Water Heaters. When you need a new water heater, choose one that is built to be the best. Choose Bradford White. I'm Brendan Gunn on the home of the 76ers and the Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Vacation? Business trip? Don't worry.
live here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. You can text in at 610-632-0975 as we continue to discuss what could be a potential departure of Dallas Goedert. And then when you're seeing the moves around the NFL, does that instill more confidence in you with the Philadelphia Eagles? So, John, you were very adamant 2 weeks ago before you slacked away.
I was adamant last week to have margaritas, and
I'm proud of you.
I have the list of drinks, by the way, for later.
I gave John a task to try a different drink every single day
that I'd never had before.
And I'm looking forward to hearing about them. Yes. So 2 weeks ago, you were adamant about not going after Myles Garrett because you believe the Eagles found a formula. They didn't need Myles Garrett to win last year's Super Bowl, so why would they need him next year? Blah, blah, blah. And I understood everything that you were saying.
And mortgaging the future to do that.
Yeah,
why are you doing that? You didn't
my
need
money,
it.
and I need it now.
You didn't need
it. All right,
it.
call J.G. Wentworth. All right, I want more. So now that you see what some of the other teams have done, like the Browns extending him and destroying any chance of acquiring any other players, Max Crosby goes to the Raiders, and they said, you know what? With our extra lump sum of money, we're going to go pay Geno Smith because that's a smart thing to do. When you see what other teams around the NFL have done so far before legal tampering opens up today at noon, has it added to your confidence with the Philadelphia Eagles? Because to me, Johnny, I feel great because my organization isn't stupid.
I love it. I just wanted a quiet. I really wanted a quiet off season, and I feel like I'm getting it because I want stability. I don't want, this isn't the time you got to put all your chips in the middle of the table,
right?
And it would have been stupid for I believe. Doing and I'm not sure that Garrett was ever available. Like what was real, what wasn't. I'm sure one of our great writers will find out more about what.
Well, him wanting to go to a contender clearly was never real.
Right,
yeah, it was clearly a lie, and that's we played the audio of our buddy Zach Gelb. TU, man, Temple made Temple proud.
It is
about how Myles Garrett straight up said to him, "I want to play for a winner." He mentioned the Eagles by name.
He did. Well, he was out there honestly selling his wares on Radio Row. I thought it was embarrassing because you're part of a team. So how does he go back to Cleveland? So he's telling everybody, I want to go play for a winner on Radio Row.
I'm sure the players still love him.
Talking to every outlet out there. I want to go to a winner.
Yeah.
Oh, now I'm Cleveland Browns. I'm back. I think it's a disgrace.
Well, what I found amazing, John,
I think it's a disgrace.
So on Friday, right around the end of the show,
right?
The report came out that he wanted to speak with the owner of the Browns. And Haslam, the owner, shot him down. Yep. Said, nah, handle your business with Andrew Berry.
You don't try to overplay your hand, dude.
Well, he has every right to overplay his hand. He's Myles Garrett. I thought Garrett, I was shocked. I thought that was the final straw. If the owner refuses to speak to the player, I thought that was the final straw. And then it's a day later, he gets the big contract. And so clearly it didn't really matter to him.
It didn't matter.
All that mattered to him was the money.
And now he's going to go back in to that locker room and be the...
Listen, that locker room has Deshaun Watson. I think he's the...
No, that's the thing.
He's a beacon of light in that locker room.
Well, I got to tell you.
Compared to somebody else in that locker room.
I'm so glad it didn't happen. Just thrilled it didn't happen.
You're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN, WPN, HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. And I will obviously, as I said, be borderline devastated if Dallas Goedert is not on the Eagles next year. What you're saying is totally logical about the cap hits, and we've been mentioning it that we're surprised they had yet to address the tight end position because last year would have been the year if they followed the same timeline of Brent Selleck and Zach Ertz
that they would have done it,
but they didn't. And
I don't think that they look at Dallas Goedert like they look like Zach Ertz. I think they look at as Dallas just can't. They just felt that they couldn't. They can't count on him to be healthy. So I think that they moved on.
It looks like they're going to. I mean, the Josina Anderson report was pretty adamant that he's on his way out. Let me find the tweet again for you. This is what she wrote. There are league sources who believe the Eagles are holding out hope for at least a fourth-round pick for Dallas Goedert in a potential trade, even if said pick was from later years like 26 or 27. However, a lower pick and more of a salary adjustment is needed for some teams to continue the conversations. Like it seems like they're shopping him at this point.
And I think that's where it's at because, look, if you're not going to be, if you have to put a ring on it with Dallas Goedert, in a year, you know you got to put a ring on it. You got to go and make a move. Go make a move now. If you know you're not going to do it, don't lead her on for another year. Tell her you don't want to marry her.
Right. I mean, look, he's already an Eagle, so they're allowed to tamper with him. They're allowed to tamper with Dallas Goedert.
They're allowed to do whatever they want to do.
And so if it's gotten to this point, this close to the new league year, it seems like it's all but over for Dallas Goedert with the Eagles. And I'm disappointed by it because I think he's a very important part to this offense still.
Okay.
Like, yes, he's getting hurt. That's true. I'm not going to compare him to Joel Embiid, but you get where I'm going at here. When he's on the field and healthy, he's a very important player, very good. Dallas Goedert was a big part of your offense, especially during the playoffs, both in the run-heavy games and the pass-happy games, and he was great in both of them. And that play with him stiff-arming the cornerback of the Packers to get in the end zone, I mean, I can replay that in my brain over and over and over.
Look, it's going to be along the lines of what I told you about Mekhi Becton. I will absolutely always have warm feelings about Dallas Goedert.
Of course.
But I'm not gonna blink if he leaves. I'm not gonna in any way. I'm gonna be like, thank you for your time. I believe they can find a Dallas Goedert. I believe they could find a potentially more productive Dallas Goedert in this year's draft.
Is this more Goedert or is this more Eagles? I'm sure Goedert wants a new contract.
Of course he does, and he should, by the way.
Yes.
He should. But to me, I just can't count on him. He's going to get too dinged up. And I'm also worried about him with if there's any dinging up top. You don't want that. So I'd be fine to move on.
Okay. Interesting. See,
I'd be fine to move on.
I would be upset. I would be, and we're not.
No, you said borderline, and I think that's cool.
Borderline devastated.
But devastated. The word devastated
I'm not going to lose sleep over it, but I'm going to be very curious to see what they do next. And obviously, it's draft. It has to be. Right. Because the Eagles and tight end are like the Phillies and catchers.
They've always had that.
They've just always had it.
So then,
Real Muto,
that should be more.
Ruiz.
That should be more reason why you would say, "I trust it."
Right.
I trust it.
I expect them to draft a tight end. I'm just surprised that maybe it was a year too late to do the draft because it would have been nice if he had if they drafted a rookie tight end last year. And look, obviously, I'm thrilled with how the draft played out, right? With Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean and Jalix Hunt. But now I'm expecting a rookie tight end to be an integral part of an offense that is going to try to contend for another Super Bowl. Now there are. I don't
think it'll keep them from being able to do that at all.
Well, you got AJ Brown, Devontae Smith to carry the ball,
but you do need a block. You do need somebody. Whoever you're going to get has to bring better blocking skills than Grant Calcaterra.
Which is why I'm upset. Because Dallas Goedert does bring that. Now, look, Saquon Barkley clearly didn't really struggle without Dallas Goedert when Goedert was out last year. But I would just like to see Goedert back, and I'll be pretty damn upset if he's gone. All right, what are the people saying on the text line? You can text in. Those are our topics today. When you see what the other teams in the NFL are doing, does it make you feel even better about the Philadelphia Eagles? Because I laughed numerous times this weekend when I saw reports from Rappaport, Schefter, Schultz, you name it. When somebody reported something, I laughed numerous times. Like, what is that team doing? I'm so glad that I have a GM in Howie Roseman and an owner in Jeffrey Lurie willing to pay up a lot of money up front where you're not getting killed with the cap with a lot of these moves. But in the same breath, I'd be upset to see Dallas Goedert go. What do we got?
Yeah, we got Eddie and Wallingford checking in, saying the idea of Goedert always seemed so huge, and he was great when he was out there, but you could always count on him to miss time. And then when he wasn't there, you hardly even notice half the time.
Yeah,
when he wasn't there, you hardly noticed. Yeah, I mean, look.
They didn't, by the way, they won a lot without him.
Yeah.
And they won a lot with him missing the running game. Go look at the numbers. Everybody talks about, the running game. The running games really didn't struggle with him out. Go back on any one of his injuries.
Right.
Where he's missing. So that is a talking point to me that just is a lot of blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
Because the running game didn't really struggle without him. Is he better than Grant Calcaterra blocking?
Yes.
No question.
Yeah, much better.
It's not even a question. But overall, the run game didn't struggle when he was missing.
Yeah, no, I get it.
So I think you can get a young.
Yeah.
I think you can get a young player in there that you can grow, and I think it'll work.
All right, what else we got?
Yeah, we got Joe in West Philly checking in saying Dallas has been too injury-prone his whole career. He started out trending high, but he's always been trending downward ever since, especially the last couple of seasons outside the playoffs. They might need to draft a tight end early, though.
Yeah, they're going to have to draft tight end early, and that's what they do, right? They did it with Zach Ertz. They did it with Dallas Goedert.
So what's early for you, boys?
Probably second round.
Even that's late, being the 64th pick.
No, it isn't, though, in this draft. I mean, just looking at, and again, we'll get the expert on tomorrow, and he'll tell us about it. But looking at it, Gunnar, I'm looking at it and saying, I believe that's around where you're going to see some of these guys come off.
Yeah. Well, especially because
I remember they can always move around, too.
Between quarterbacks and the defensive tackles, it's probably going to. I mean, remember last year, the run on offense? You didn't see defense being drafted till midway through the first round. That could be something that happens at some point. All right, coming up next, we have today's headlines with our man Brendan Gunn. We'll sneak in some more text messages. And because John was not here last week,
I was drinking at this time, close to it.
I have to get his thoughts on Darius Slay and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson and whether or not you'd bring back Darius Slay. I'm looking forward to hearing what John says.
And we didn't talk this out this morning.
Nope.
On purpose.
And I straight up asked the question, why don't a lot of you like Darius Slay? One guy responded to me with something that I laugh at a year after he played so well, a month after he played so well and the Eagles won the Super Bowl, and he was a big part of it. I'll explain more coming up later on in the show, but today's headlines comes first here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Tyrone Johnson, Ricky Vitalico, and Silvana Keller.
Today's headlines with Brendan Gunn coming up momentarily on this Football Monday, presented to us by our friends at Pierce Phelps Bryant Heating and Air Conditioning Contractors. Visit nopaybryant.com as legal tampering comes our way at noon. Make sure you're listening during the Mike Missanelli show, because as soon as 12 o'clock hits, there's just going to be a crazy amount of tweets that are going to be coming out from reporters all across the NFL. Even though maybe the details won't be official, there will be a lot of those, the way they tweet it, so-and-so is close to terms with this team. Yeah, because none of it happened illegally. It was all legal, John.
Yeah, it's close to
12
terms.
o'clock hits, and somehow from 12 to 12:01, a 1 minute long conversation. I imagine when you signed your deal here with the Fanatic, leaving Atlanta, it took only about a minute, right?
It did.
It was like a 1 minute phone call.
It did, really?
All the finances were agreed upon.
It really took no time at all.
Yeah, it was that quick.
I don't know how many times I took the picture of "Welcome to Philadelphia" going down the escalator.
Yeah.
There was quite a few visits.
Yeah, and yet somehow legal tampering at 12:01, there's going to be a deal in place, and they're supposed to just be like, "Oh yeah, no, we just started talking." I swear.
Yeah, we didn't. Please.
All right, you've been out, but Brendan Gunn has done an exceptional job at it, as Connor's been sitting in your seat for a couple of days. Connor will be back tomorrow, but it is time now for today's headlines for another time with Brendan Gunn.
Today's headlines with the one and only Brendan Gunn.
He has his own intro. He's got his own intro, and you missed this last week. Now sponsored. Tell us.
Yes, it is sponsored, Johnny. Sponsored by Lundy Law. For over 70 years, Lundy Law has been fighting for injured people. If you need them, remember the name, Lundy Law. Your injury lawyers. Visit LundyLaw.com. That's LundyLaw.com.
Love it.
Look what happens when
Love
you
it.
leave.
And I love the
show
Lundys.
the show gets sponsored when
That's
you
great.
leave. I'm surprised they're still on board now that you're back.
Well, we're going to start out today with something you guys hinted at a little bit earlier at Daryl Morey saying the Sixers fans are driven by anger. And I guess you heard a little bit of anger on Friday night at the WWE. Paul George was in attendance. Gershon Yabusele was in attendance. And the fans did not take too kindly of it, and you could hear it on the broadcast.
And sitting nearby ringside here are the 76ers. They're going to host the Jazz come Sunday, and they have been loving the action ringside. Of course, these Philly fans, you can get a mixed reaction when you have certain struggles during the season.
Certain struggles. I know WWE guys probably not paying attention to the NBA. No, horrible struggles. It's been a horrible season.
Do you think that's a bad look?
By who?
The fans.
No.
I don't either.
That's your chance to voice frustration.
By the way, so can't play, but can make it to the WWE. That's great.
Yeah, man.
That's freaking great to me. That is the worst look of all. You can't come to work to earn your paycheck, but you can go and visit the WWE.
Hey, he sacrificed the podcast for us, Johnny. He sacrificed the podcast.
Oh my gosh. They could use a podcast class. By the way, I'll teach one.
By the way, Daryl Morey's comments, very interesting for you to say that Sixers fans are driven by anger.
Does Daryl Morey understand? Does he have Google?
That was not a smart thing. That was not a smart thing to say.
Do you have Google?
I think when Daryl Morey does speak, and we've had opportunities to speak with him just on our own, off the air.
Seriously, we have.
He's very cordial. And
he's very candid.
Yeah.
But that's nonsense.
That was one of those.
He may have misspoken.
I know.
And I'm hoping that he misspoke because it sounds stupid.
It was bad. It was a bad
sound.
Did you see the quote?
No,
it was.
You heard it.
He was talking about the Knicks and the Celtics series, and he thought more people would be upset after last year's series.
And look, we had a conversation with him last year where that sort of
he may have said that to us. Yeah,
he thought there was going to be a lot more grief about it.
Yeah, but the whole Sixers fans are driven by anger. Like, no, dude, I'm driven by 24 years of disappointing seasons, and a lot of people aren't even angry anymore, and that's when you're in a very bad situation when people are apathetic. Which a lot of people are. I mean, if we talk about the Sixers, we're guaranteed to get a tweet or two saying, come on, can we please stop talking about the Sixers? Like, people don't want to hear it. So for you to start saying stuff like that is a dangerous thing to do. There's a lot of people that are already not thinking too highly of you. All right, I'm trying to talk to Daryl the man here. Be careful, man, because that's just going to get you in a lot of trouble with Sixers fans.
I mean, it's just seriously that you're going to say that?
Yeah, not smart.
Oh my gosh!
Apparently, I'm getting taken off the camera because I forgot to mention that Haley was at the WWE event, and she took the in-arena video of the booing that went viral.
Yes, she did. Good job, Haley.
Speaking of anger, John Tortorella, he was in a press conference yesterday after he didn't bench, was teaching a lesson to Matvei Michkov, and he had a little interaction with the reporter. This is what he had to say.
Just let me tell you guys something, okay? There are a number of things that come into play, not one specific play, okay? It's not always the play on the ice that I'm trying to teach. So use that as a context before you start all your bull. There are so many things that go on, and with me trying to develop that player, and I'm going to continue to do it the way I think it should be done.
Why has this been so polarizing the way John Tortorella has handled Matvei Michkov?
People don't like him for whatever reason.
Because they don't like John Tortorella, and there is a bunch of pearl-clutching media in this town that doesn't understand John Tortorella and doesn't take the time. I'm getting excited already. Doesn't take the time to do some freaking research to realize that Matvei Michkov and John Tortorella do not have problems.
Yeah.
And it's being portrayed as, oh, he's ruining the kid. He's doing this. If you were willing to do 10 minutes of research, you would know that Tortorella and Michkov have not had a problem communicating this year. And Tortorella is actually, Michkov, has actually spoken in interviews of the fact that he understands the tough coaching. John Tortorella is like summer camp compared to some of the coaching that Matvei Michkov has had overseas. But we have a bunch of pearl-clutching media that he's a meanie, and he doesn't talk to the media nice. You know what happens is Nick Sirianni doesn't answer a question for you and won't tell you anything. You know, you won't get anything out of Nick Nurse. You won't get any real answers out of him. Right. You get ramp-up periods. And the media just laps it up, takes a spoon. John Tortorella tells you the truth. He goes, there are things I'm not going to tell you. And we got a bunch of media like, oh, he's such a meanie. Oh, my gosh. I swear to you, media and some new media are so damn soft. It's embarrassing.
I can't tell if your face is red from,
it's from
Jamaica
vacation.
Or if it's from John Tortorella.
No, but that is too. It's so embarrassing because it takes 10 minutes of research to know that Michkov and Tortorella do not have problems. But it's like, oh, look at these. Here it goes. Tortorella had it again with Michkov. By the way, Michkov with 18 games to go is over his projected scoring for the season.
And oh, by the way, as you've mentioned multiple times, he's never played this much hockey in a season before.
And he needs to get his head out of his backside on the ice, a lot of times with back checking and losing his defensive responsibilities. That will come with time. I love watching Michkov play, but I also love him being taught the game the right way.
I love this tweet. Relax, Emperor. You do whatever you want. Don't get an attitude if people question how you use the power. That was from our own Tyrone Johnson. Happy birthday to Tyrone Johnson. All right, coming up next, we mentioned it that we were going to get into this coming up in the following segment. The Darius Slay podcast, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson.
Here we go.
I was live on the air Thursday when it was happening. The tweets
you guys
from
were like
CJ
enjoying
GJ.
This, I heard.
Oh, we were at the news desk, man. It was amazing. But John hasn't had a chance to chime in on this yet, and of course, Darius Slay is still available to be signed. We'll discuss that next. Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Legal tampering begins today. I'm Brendan Gunn with your Fanatic Sports Update, and it is brought to you by Natural Lawn of America. Natural Lawn of America get free seeding every year. Call 800-FREE-SEED now. Free agency is here around the NFL as the legal tampering period officially opens today at noon. Teams can now contact various pending free agents around the league and work out a deal before officially being allowed to sign them on Wednesday. The Eagles have quite a few names to keep an eye on, including Milton Williams, Josh Sweat, Mekhi Becton, Darius Slay, Isaiah Rodgers, amongst a whole bunch of others. We'll keep you updated all day long here on The Fanatic as far as any moves go surrounding those players, or if the Eagles go out and contact another pending free agent from another team as well. We'll keep you updated right here on The Fanatic. The Sixers, they got back in the win column last last night with a 126-122 win over the Utah Jazz. Quentin Grimes and Lonnie Walker each scored 25 points for the Sixers. They're back on the court tonight to take on the Atlanta Hawks on the road. Listen to that game live right here on the Fanatic, starting at 7:30. And the Flyers, they lost to the New Jersey Devils yesterday by a score of 3-1. This update was also brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. That feeling of owning your first Mercedes-Benz is hard to believe, but it's real. From the leather stitching to the iconic design, every element of a Mercedes-Benz lives up to its reputation. See for yourself at your local dealer. I'm Brendan Gunn on the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Philadelphia Union Soccer.
vacation, he missed a lot. Not only the Saquon Barkley
Well,
and
you
Zach
don't listen.
Ball
You
news,
miss a lot every day.
Damn right. But you also missed out on the Darius Slay, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson fiasco. As I kept on saying on the air Thursday when it was going down, oh my God, it hasn't even been a month since the Eagles won the Super Bowl, and we're already going down an alleyway that I don't want to go down. So in case people missed it, just a quick synopsis. Darius Slay went on his podcast and talked about leadership. And if he were not to return to the Philadelphia Eagles after they released him, and that it wasn't a release like, hey, you're done. It was a release, hey, let's rework something. If you're interested, there are other teams involved like the Commanders, the Lions, other contenders in the NFC. He said that if he were to leave, the leadership would be fine with Reed Blankenship. And then he mentioned maybe bringing in another veteran as well. That's when Chauncey Gardner-Johnson was very active on social media because he was upset that his name was not mentioned in terms of the leadership. He even at one point said, you saw what happened when you brought in another leader, and he talked about Kevin Byard. Now, Byard was a trade midseason.
No lies detected.
But Darius Slay then went on social media to sort of explain what he meant. Reed Blankenship is in the team's leadership council. Like every team has maybe a core group of players. Obviously, you have your captains, but maybe a couple extra players as well. And Reed Blankenship is a part of the leadership council. So that's why he was talking specifically about Blankenship. What maybe bothered Chauncey Gardner-Johnson was bringing in another outside member to sort of add to the leadership. But Darius Slay explained himself. It then became a civil war, and majority of the people side with Chauncey Gardner-Johnson because, as you have heard me say numerous times, for whatever reason, people just don't like Darius Slay.
Or, see, I don't like how you're framing it there.
Okay.
I like how you framed it to a point, but then you portray it as, well, people just don't like Darius Slay. You and I are big fans.
Yes.
Of him on the field. I'm not a big fan of this crap.
No, neither am I.
I'm not.
Neither am I.
And I think the fact is, whether he misspoke or not, and I don't believe he did. I don't believe for a second, that there wasn't some veiled little jab in there.
Because
by
maybe
Reed Blankenship being the leader back there, and that Reed is the next guy who deserves to be locked down.
Well, if he's in the leadership council, why would that not be accurate?
I don't believe for a second that it wasn't a veiled jab.
I got it.
No matter how you try to spin it later, like, oh, no, I didn't mean that. Nah, there was a veiled jab. If you don't think of it, the impact that C.J. Gardner-Johnson has made on this team, the 2 seasons he's played here.
Yeah, exceptional.
Is exceptional. His leadership, by example, by attitude, by everything, exceptional. Mm-hmm. And the fact that somehow slipped his mind, BS.
Well, I believe
BS. That was calculated and a little shade. A little shade.
And look, you know how I feel about the podcast. The only thing I go back to is clearly the players aren't bothered by it. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson became bothered by it, but the players have not been bothered by it over the years. Now, I loved what Tyrone said last week on Wednesday. He basically made the point, we don't have to pick a side here. Both can be wrong in their own right.
They can be. And that is the truth.
I believe Darius Slay with the podcast gets himself in murky waters, and I believe Chauncey Gardner-Johnson can be a big boy and handle things offline.
I think that Chauncey Gardner-Johnson should have handled it. He was incorrect to handle it publicly.
And what happened? He eventually deletes all the tweets because somebody probably told him to delete it.
He was incorrect to do that. So Tyrone's right with that.
Yeah.
That's absolutely right.
But people pick sides.
But both could have happened. To me, if you, I'm going to tell you, if you believe that it was just an oversight, that wasn't what I meant. He absolutely meant it.
All right.
It was a backhanded slight.
So are you bringing him back?
No, I'm fine getting younger.
I would love to have him back.
Now, the thing is, though, you gave me a number earlier, and I said, oh, okay, that's a little tasty.
5.5. I don't know what the market is for
but if you
Darius Slay.
If you tell me right now it's 1 year, 5, done. I don't believe it's going to be that. I don't believe he's going to
be more?
Yeah. I think he's going to get more than $5 million for the year. Yeah. Starting corner, Super Bowl championship team, probably has 1 or 2 years tire life left in his career? One by what he says he wants to play? Yeah, I think it'll be more.
So his average.
I'm not going 8.
His average salary with the 3-year extension was $14 million. It's not going to be 14.
No, it's not going to be. But he's not going. But he's not going to 5.
So
not going to 5.
8. If you say 8,
it's like Price is Right here. I think if you go 7 and below, I'm in. 7 and below, I'm in.
Okay.
And because I do want them to get younger too, because I love the youth.
Well, that's the thing.
And what they've shown is Vic's really good with the youth. He knows how to coach it up.
He absolutely does. Now, I don't want DeJean to move out to the outside.
And I'm with you.
I want him to stay at the slot. He was so freaking good at it, and it's such an important position.
I'm with you.
It's not the old days of slot where you're going up against the third wide receiver. You're going up against tight ends. Sometimes the number 1 guys are moving on to the inside. We've seen A.J. Brown move on to the inside. We've seen Devontae Smith move on to the inside. Imagine other teams, A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith. That's Cooper DeJean's guy to cover. So your options are Isaiah Rodgers or Darius Slay. That's what it feels like your options are. All the other corners that are on the market are going to get paid.
Yes.
So they're out of the question. It's probably an Isaiah Rodgers or Darius Slay. You pick who you want. And then maybe you draft another. I know Keely Ringo's around, and everybody loves Keely. There's a reason why he's not on the field that much.
I don't think Isaiah Rodgers is Darius Slay right now. Like, I think that there's teams, I think, went after Isaiah Rodgers when he was in there more than they went after Darius Slay.
Yeah, but once he had the week of preparation, he was
definitely better.
Fine.
No, he was much better.
But you're right. I mean, when he would come in, they did attack him.
They attacked him.
So, look, I would be okay with it.
I got where you're at. I think that you and I are Slay supporters on the field.
Yeah.
And it's funny, it's because we differ on the off-the-field stuff, but we are total believers of him on the field. And I think he has been disrespected by a lot of this fan base for what he does. I mean, he's been an incredible Eagle. But I don't like that crap. Like I just don't. And the thing
it bothers me.
And then
but the players don't care.
By the way, do you have something else? Wait a minute. You're speaking in a big generality there.
Okay.
I don't believe you.
It seems like
by the way, I don't believe
seems like
that
the majority of players don't.
Well,
care.
that could be. And there are players maybe that don't take it public that they don't like it.
That's true.
What about Jalen Hurts? You think Jalen Hurts likes it?
I don't know what Jalen Hurts
No, but
likes.
I mean, no, I'm saying about didn't he also have rankings on Jalen Hurts?
He did. He did not consider him
elite.
Which, hey, same.
Right. The thing is, no.
Elite winner.
Did he not? Wait a minute. Before last season, we had him. We averaged out 7.5.
Yeah.
When you and Connor and I did it.
Yeah.
Has he moved up a little?
Yeah.
Okay, so where's he moving to?
5 or 6.
No, I'd be fine with 5. Look, I'd be fine. Because I did the number in my head, so.
I have if they redrafted your first 4 quarterbacks off the board are Mahomes, Allen,
Burrow.
Lamar, and Burrow. Like, those are your first
fine.
4 off the board.
And Hurts is 5 to me.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with that.
And that's what he said.
But is 5 elite?
Sure.
Or what? Like, where does elite begin for you? That's the question.
That's good. That is.
It might not be, and it might not be 5. Might not be.
And it might be different for all. It might be different for all of us.
But why is he engaging in that conversation when he's a part of a team?
Because he's getting ready for what's next in his career, which will be in the media.
Then get ready. Then go do it. Don't disrupt.
He was still exceptional last year.
Yeah, but don't disrupt locker rooms.
By the way, the one tweet that I saw that I laughed at, some guy, our man Bobby Cash, responded to me the other day when I put out the tweet about Slay. He said, "Who cares? Slay's washed anyway."
Washed?
And I literally outwardly laughed. Washed?
The top 15 defensive plays of the year, I think Slay made 4 of them.
He was exceptional last year.
He made 4 of them on the Eagles highlight reel.
He said he's always injured. No, he's not.
No, he's not.
People have.
He leaves games.
People have opinions, and then they just stick with it. He's not. Darius Slay was far from washed last year. I could tell you 55 other players that were washed last season. Darius Slay was not one of them. All right, coming up next. So we talked about it earlier about what the Eagles are doing well versus what other teams are not. Let's dive into what the Eagles are doing that is working for them, because there's a reason why they maybe weren't in the market for Myles Garrett. We'll discuss more about that coming up next. Your text messages as well here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
The Philadelphia 76ers.
Sixers win. Play that.
Kincade Salciunas, brought to us by our friends at Pierce Phelps Bryant Heating and Air Conditioning Contractors. Visit nopayBryant.com. And if you want to try to win the tickets for the Sixers-Wizards game March 26th, then, of course, knockout after the game, enter the keyword JAM, J-A-M, on the contest page, 975thefanatic.com. So what are the Eagles doing right? We laugh at what other teams are doing. I laugh at the Steelers giving DK Metcalf, who is a tremendous player. Don't get me wrong.
No, he is. Absolutely.
But who's the quarterback?
Yeah, exactly. How much are they paying Metcalf?
5-year, $150 million.
That's an absurd contract. Now, maybe it's front-loaded, but $30 million a year?
Right, so I'm not as invested in the contract structures as we are with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Correct.
What move saves cap space, what doesn't. But you see 5 for $150, and they don't have a quarterback. Like, that's what confuses me. And the quarterback options, by the way, for the Steelers, who won a lot of games this year.
They did.
So it's not like they're top 5 draft pick.
And by the way, that's a team that I was predicting that they wouldn't.
It would be the year that they fell off, right?
Do you know what A.J. Brown's is? His contract?
Well, he had the extra years.
Oh, he had the extra years put on?
It's less than Metcalf's, right?
Yeah, 22, 27, 29.
Yeah, much less.
And he's going to be younger by the time that's done.
Yeah.
Like, he's going to be, like, that's absurd.
Oh, and he's a quarterback.
Yeah, he's got a really good quarterback.
The reports for the
Not
Steelers.
Not elite, according to Darius Slay. But he's right there.
The reports for Pittsburgh right now is either a return of Fields, a return of Wilson, which I can't imagine many Pittsburgh Steelers fans would be happy with both. They saw kind of the ceiling that they were able to hit.
Pittsburgh Post-Gazette had fans wanting Fields to be back over Wilson.
Right, because of the youth. I totally understand that.
Upside.
Yeah, I totally understand that.
So,
and then Rodgers is the other name that keeps popping up. And it's like, do you really want to bring that to your locker room? I don't understand how any team would be interested at this point.
I just wouldn't.
Like, what culture are you trying to set? The Peyote Club? Like, what? I don't get it.
I think he
sign me up, but
more importantly, do you want, like, if you're Nick Sirianni, would you want Jalen Hurts say every week Jalen Hurts is going to be on with Stephen A. Smith and do a 15-minute segment and talk about crap that's going on in your locker room?
Well, that's the thing.
Aaron Rodgers is the most self-indulgent athlete out there.
It's not just 15 minutes on, hey, let's talk about the NFL. No, it's like you see some of the clips that go around with Rodgers.
Let me talk about everything else, too, that I know nothing about.
And it's just, it's too much. So I don't know.
I would not want my team's business. I don't care. If he wants to talk about whatever on a podcast, he can. But you're a starting quarterback in the NFL. Put your damn Focus helmet on.
Yeah.
And it's like he's just a celebrity now.
Oh, he's much more celebrity.
It's not that he's about leading a team. No,
and he's not the
last guy I'd want to bring in.
Yeah. So what are the Eagles doing that's working? So you mentioned it. You were against trading for Myles Garrett from the beginning before he signed the extension with the Cleveland Browns, and a lot of it was because you wanted them to keep drafting.
Yes.
Because they've been doing it so well.
They've been doing a fantastic job. But I'm fine if they go and they get an older veteran back end of his career.
That's why Khalil Mack keeps on popping up in conversation.
I'm fine with something that, but I'm thrilled because of the fact is I want the draft pick staying here. I want this team. There has never been a time in Howie's tenure when he's had a better roster, better long-term cap situation.
Yep.
And his young talent locked down. The last thing I wanted to see them do was to go, well, we got to have the flavor of the month now.
Right.
We got to make that move now. I am so proud. Like, I'm happy that we're going to have a quiet free agency period. And I do think it's going to be quiet.
Now, one of the questions I forgot to put on the sheet, one of the questions you asked me, that you sent me, one of the topics was, would I be shocked if one of the players returns?
Yeah, would you be shocked?
I would be shocked if either Milton Williams or Josh Sweat are here.
Either one of them comes back, you're shocked.
I'm legitimately shocked.
I wonder the market. You think the market's going to be big for both?
Yeah.
I think for Milton Williams it's going to be big. I think it's going to be softer for Sweat.
Yeah. If I would agree that there's more teams clamoring for Milton Williams and Josh Sweat. What was the projection, Gunner? 4 years, $96 million for Milton Williams?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
I'm out.
That's insane.
I'm out. Thank you.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Hey, Big Milt. Go for it.
And we're clapping for him.
Absolutely.
And by the way, if he signs that contract, you get a third-round pick next year.
Yeah, you're kind of rooting for these guys to get paid well.
You want them to get paid well. It'll be a third-round pick for him. I'm fine.
The one team that I saw a couple times with Josh Sweat was Arizona, which makes Jonathan Gannon. That's a total Gannon move.
And
Let me get this guy back. Yeah.
What I would tell you on that contract is Josh Sweat, and just to be honest, is he getting a paycheck for 17 games? Or is he getting a paycheck? Are you paying it over only 9 of those weeks is he going to cash a paycheck? Because for his entire career, until this blip on the radar last year, has he managed to put together a slate of a season where he's just been consistent?
No, it's been a long time.
He has eight game gaps almost every single year of his career.
Yeah, which is why
I'm
sacks. Totally okay with him leaving.
And by the way, I wish him well and think he had a fantastic Super Bowl.
Look, he could have won MVP.
He could have.
Jeff McClain, I believe, voted for him to win MVP. It was close.
And that's fine. Yes, absolutely.
Between the two. I mean, he had 2.5 sacks. He was tremendous. It's just what a way to go out the door.
Correct.
And
we're happy for you.
Have fun going out the door. All right, so here's what we're going to do. As we do at basically the top of the hour every single hour, we will reset today's topics. And we will talk with you. Check out the text line. But around 9:10 this morning.
9:10.
There was a video that has gone viral from the Bahamas. And there have already been...
I wasn't there. I was in another island.
But in that same segment, John Kincade had a homework assignment. And according to John, the assignment has not been handed in yet. Nope. He might still be doing chicken scratch at his table.
I had to write down 2 of the ingredients.
Okay. I asked John, who's very set in his ways with booze, to try a different drink every day when he's at an all-inclusive because you already paid for it.
The guy is drunk, but there he goes.
I tried 7 different drinks over 5 days.
We will get those answers around 9:10, as well as the story from the Bahamas. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Legal tampering is almost here. I'm Brendan Gunn with your Fanatic Sports Update. Free agency is just about here around the NFL as the legal tampering period officially opens today at 12 noon. Teams can now contact at noon various pending free agents around the league and work out a deal before officially being allowed to sign them on Wednesday. The Eagles have quite a few names to keep an eye on: Milton Williams, Josh Sweat, Mekhi Becton, Darius Slay, Isaiah Rodgers, amongst many others. We'll keep you updated all show long here on the Fanatic, all day long on the Fanatic, as far as moves go surrounding those players, or if the Eagles contact another pending free agent from another team. Like I said, we'll keep you updated. One guy who says not to expect to splash this free agency period, especially on the edge, is Rob Motti from the AP. He joined the best show ever on Friday, and this is what he had to say.
They're coming off a Super Bowl victory. They don't have to spend on a big splash like that at edge rusher with the depth that they have, even with potentially losing Sweat and Milton Williams and Brandon Graham.
The Sixers got back in the win column last night with a 126-122 win over the Utah Jazz. Quentin Grimes and Lonnie Walker led the team with 25 points. The Sixers are back in action on the road tonight to take on the Atlanta Hawks. Listen to that game live right here on the Fanatic. Starting at 7:30, and the Flyers, they lost again yesterday to the New Jersey Devils by a score of 3-1. This update was brought to you by Moyer Indoor and Outdoor Services. Follow Andrew Salciunas' lead and get a jump on a green, lush lawn this spring. Right now, go to eMoyer.com for free estimates. I'm Brendan Gunn on the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Philadelphia Sports.
Touchdown!
Hello, Andrew.
Good to have you back.
Glad to be here.
Great.
Very ready.
Welcome back from vacation.
I'm glad to be here.
I'll be in Clearwater soon. I'll see Bryson Stott.
You will be there. Have a good time with it.
Wait, flying down on Sunday.
It's going to be fun.
All right, so here's what we're talking about. Don't forget, coming up at 9:10, an awesome video that has since gone viral from the Bahamas that involves Dak Prescott and John Kincade in a different part of the Caribbean talking about booze.
Yes.
And the 7 drinks that he was...
7 drinks I've never had before.
Because that was your task.
And I did not... I only asked for one of them. 6 of them were surprise me.
Okay.
That's
like
the way
that.
it worked.
That and see, I'm a fan of the surprise me.
Yeah, surprise me. I am not.
I love it.
You
man.
are, so it's great.
Bartender, surprise me.
There you go.
All right, but here's what we've been talking about today. We've obviously been reacting to what's been going on so far in the NFL with the wild weekend that we had. I mean, you came back at a great time. You obviously missed the Saquon and Zach Bond stuff, but you have come back at a great time because this weekend was wild with news. Geno Smith to the Raiders, which I just laugh at. DK Metcalf goes to the Pittsburgh Steelers, where they don't have a quarterback right now. 5 years, $150 million. Hell of a player, deserving of
No, that's fine.
Everything. But Skylar Thompson's their starting quarterback right now if they were to start the season today because they don't have anyone else under contract.
Sounds like a stripper, too. Now in the main stage, Skylar.
What did you do out there? Because that's two strip club. That's 2 strip club references.
I did not leave the resort.
Or did the resort?
Let's just put it that way.
Did the resort have a strip club?
No, it did not.
A lot of strip club references. You go on vacation for a week.
They had one of those stupid silent discos, though.
I don't get that.
It's just so.
I don't get the silent disco. Everyone, it's like
it's so dumb. It's like
honestly,
look at me.
Have you ever done one?
No,
no. I'm not saying it's fun. It's just so awkward when you take the headphones off and you're like.
By the way, they had
what the hell is this?
They had a Michael Jackson tribute show.
Yeah.
They had a Grease tribute.
Why not?
It was unbelievable. Like these entertainers, they're kicking ass. It's amazing.
You know how that movie was like not for kids, but it was about high school and like.
Yeah.
Just read the lyrics for Grease Lightning.
Oh no, don't. Not on the air.
No, not on the air.
Oh no.
Oh, is it like twisted?
Dude.
Yes.
Read the lyrics.
Yes, it's twisted.
And then you're going, wait a minute. My parents used to let me watch this when I was like 7.
Yeah, I watched that when I was a toddler.
Because you didn't know the words.
Read the lyrics.
Yeah, it's not.
That's your homework assignment for next commercial break.
I'll help you with the big words.
You're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic WP and WPN HD1 Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group Station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. So we saw what happened around the NFL, and to me, I just feel more and more confident with the Philadelphia Eagles because they're not doing stupid things. This could end up biting me in the rear end. I highly doubt it. The Geno Smith move for the Raiders was dumb. They traded. They're rebuilding, right? They're nowhere close to winning, and they gave up a pick for their bridge quarterback.
I think in Raiders land in Las Vegas, where every ticket is sold from the inception of their franchise.
Yeah.
I think they feel a little less pressure to
maybe
they feel more pressure. I mean, to have a bridge quarterback that has a name brand.
Yeah, is Geno Smith
I know nobody's
brand?
Yeah, well, Brady likes him.
Like when I saw Rappaport put out the major shakeup tweet, I was like, major shakeup? What are you talking about? Major shakeup? He's Geno Smith.
I agree.
He's going to win games.
Yes.
There was the game against the 49ers. I still remember the 49ers game where he ran into the end zone for the touchdown with very little time left on the clock. Like the guy has ability.
He's not a bad player.
But you're rebuilding. And you traded away a pick for a bridge quarterback. You could have signed 6 other free agent quarterbacks like Russell Wilson. You're not giving up anything. You're just paying the guy.
No, I wouldn't have brought in Russell Wilson to be my starter. No way.
That's the first name I thought of. But there's a million free agents out there that you could have gotten.
Wouldn't do Sam Darnold. So that's like I get you.
I laugh. And it just makes me feel better.
Where we're at.
Absolutely. You're lucky to be an Eagles fan. You're lucky to have Howie Roseman as the GM. You're lucky that they have a formula in place that is clearly working, and they're not doing stupid stuff to impact that kind of stuff. Now, however, there was a little bit of a debate on the show between John and I earlier about Dallas Goedert. I would be, and I've said the term borderline devastated, if Dallas Goedert were to be moved on from. The Josina Anderson report was that the Eagles are hoping for as high as a 4th-round pick. Not looking, hoping. And once you start throwing hope out there, it's probably going to be like a 5th or 6th round pick. Or it could be less. It could be a 7th round pick if they make the money work out more for the team that they trade him to. But I'd be disappointed, man. If he's not here next year, I do believe that this offense that relies so heavily up front could take a little bit of a hit unless they draft somebody that's really highly sought after in the NFL draft, which the Eagles are very good at drafting tight ends. Brent Selleck, Zach Ertz, Dallas Goedert. They clearly have a finger on the pulse when it comes to tight ends, but I'm talking about trying to win again this year.
I just hate the conversation because, as far as us, because the conversation sort of leads to, does it seem like you're dissing Dallas Goedert by saying, I'm not concerned at all if Dallas Goedert walks out the door. I'm not, at all. And I feel bad that because I don't want it to seem like I'm dissing Dallas Goedert because he was absolutely fantastic.
He was fantastic, and I get it. It's easy to just think, well, you still have Saquon and AJ and Devontae. The offense should be fine. It's just everything that Dallas Goedert provides. Dallas Goedert's not a one-trick pony, right? If he's just just a blocking tight end, yeah, I can find another just blocking tight end. If he's just a hands tight end, I can find another just hands tight end. He's the complete package.
He is.
That's why I worry him leaving. The injuries are obviously a major factor.
The injuries is too big a deal to me. Too big a deal because if you're not marrying him, if you're not going to, you would not consider. There's nothing that you would consider that they're going to give him a long-term extension.
No, it'd be like 1 extra year, and basically you're kicking the can down the road.
And I don't think he's going to go for that. I don't think he's going to go for that. I don't think they're going to go for that, and I think it'll be okay.
So what is he going to get? A 4-year deal somewhere?
He's going to get a 3-year deal somewhere, probably.
Okay.
And it'll probably be like a Saquon deal last year, like a 2-year deal, dummy year.
Right.
At the end. But but some teams aren't smart to
do all that.
Do the contracts like the way that Howie does.
Right.
They just don't know how to handle it.
Again, and there was the article we read earlier today from NBC Sports Philadelphia. If any of these names intrigue you, feel free to chime in at 610-632-0975. The NFL cap casualties who the Eagles could have interest in. This was from Dave Zangaro. I'll just read through the names real quick. We gave our analysis on it earlier, but Javon Hargrave, Jonathan Allen, Draymond Jones, Raekwon Davis. Those are your defensive tackles because they're going to need one with Milton Williams going out the door. Preston Smith, Harold Landry, Joey Bosa, DeMarcus Walker are your edge rushers / outside linebackers. Sorry, Harold Landry's off the board because he went to the Patriots. So Preston Smith, Joey Bosa, DeMarcus Walker. Running backs, which you will obviously have an eye on, Jamal Williams and Raheem Mostert.
I do want one of those. Not necessarily those guys, but I'm into.
You want a veteran?
Somebody. Yeah, I want a veteran. I really do. And I can't wait to see because I think they do need one. And I would say need. I guess what? I think that's a much bigger need than Dallas Goedert coming back. How about that one for you?
I disagree with you.
There's a lot to say on that.
Oh, yeah.
I do. I'm saying is that I think that insurance policy is going to be huge.
It's almost like saying Allen Iverson wasn't an elite Philadelphia athlete.
That's fine. If your elite club is different than mine.
You made your rounds last week.
I heard that from a couple people on text. I'm reading texts that I'm not reading when I'm on vacation, and I'm like, okay, I don't know the context of this text.
So I was very clear on Monday when we played it that John's not here to defend his points. So I'm not just going to
no
bash you because that would be that's what D-bags do. And I am not one.
Guess what?
All right.
Guess what? I would have had zero issue. You should know that about me. That I would have zero issue.
But
if
it would be unfair to fight a fight where you couldn't retaliate.
I mean, it's fine. Is context means everything.
The problem is it kept on coming up. Amy heard about it. We played it again. And
then she heard about it because you're playing it.
No, she saw it on.
She
okay.
brought it up.
Dylan,
I like that.
Dylan posted it on the gram.
Oh no, that's good. That's Dylan's job.
Damn right it is.
And guess what? Whether you say something smart, stupid, or otherwise, and I don't believe it's stupid, it's just the definition of what do I consider elite.
Well, man,
my elite club, and my elite club requires a lot more. Look, it's like how there's great.
Your elite club's got crickets in it.
I love the whole Club Tyrone concept. I think it's always one of my funniest things with Tyrone that I enjoy. The Club Tyrone about who's getting in on his velvet rope. Look, it's same type of thing is involved.
No. It doesn't take much to get in a Club Tyrone.
No, Club Tyrone can be though. can be the eclectic, scrappy bench guy.
Yes, Justin Anderson was. I believe Justin Anderson was the first member of Club Tyrone.
And I love that. I love the thing. It's just, I believe I would kick.
Plays for FC Barcelona right now, by the way.
I would kick 30% of the people out of the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah, I know you would.
I'd kick 30% of the NFL, maybe more, of NFL players out of the Hall of Fame. I've been to the NFL Hall of Fame, Pro Football Hall of Fame. I would absolutely kick out 35, 40% of them. I think there's too many. The NFL, every year, we have to induct 6 people. Why? Because you're watering it down? So I have a different level of what I believe is elite.
Understood.
And you got to have a work.
No, sorry. Don't understand.
Got to have a work ethic, but it's all right.
By the way, real quick, later on today around noon, why are we doing this? Saquon Barkley and the Eagles will hold a news conference for the extension. Why are you doing it at noon when legal tampering opens up?
Yeah.
I can't multitask. I need to be refreshing Twitter here.
I can hear platitudes back and forth later. I don't have to.
Yeah, like, why would you do it at noon? Do it like at 6 o'clock at night. Or do it now. Do it at 9 o'clock in the morning. Howie's probably working the phones right now, though, illegally, because legal tampering doesn't begin till noon.
As long as you're not talking with James Franklin overhearing it.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
We're fine.
All right,
tell that rat to go in his hole for a few weeks.
They had their 5 minutes of fame in the college football playoffs. Coming up next, the awesome viral clip from the Bahamas that included Dak Prescott. And what were John Kincaid's 7 new drinks?
Set the over-under in the audience that nobody is over 4.5 of these that we know. So you play along and then you can text in. Nobody will hit the over of saying I've had 5 of them. And some of them are more common names.
Strong claim.
There you go.
Kincade Salciunas here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
97.5 The Fanatic's knockout tournament is back.
the space bar on the keyboard as if that was turning on my mic.
The space bar?
I've never done that in my life. I've
never seen you do that.
I hit the space bar on the keyboard thinking I was turning my mic
You
on.
You don't fumble with the mic.
I really don't.
Very, very rare.
That was an odd miss by me. All right, so we're gonna get your drinks, your homework assignment come up here a little bit.
Over. Now I want you guys got to be really honest with me. On the over, whether you bet, will you come in over 4.5 or under? There's seven drinks.
I'm gonna say over, but the way you're saying it.
Because some of them are a little you might not have had. But by the way, then I checked out. I verified during the last 2 commercial breaks that if I Google the drinks, they're there.
Okay.
On the web. So they are legitimate drinks. They're not just drinks that I'm going to throw out a name that but I believe that if you've had 5 of these, you're a pretty adventuresome drinker, I think.
All right, interesting. Well, before we get to that, the same week you were away, about 478 miles north of you.
478, I love your exact nature.
Oh, I Googled it. Was the Bahamas, where Dak Prescott was enjoying some time off during his offseason. And he was walking through the resort, and there was a bachelorette party. And I love these ladies who are Eagles fans. And they noticed Dak Prescott, and so they wanted to address him by doing this.
I love the Go Birds.
The Go Birds.
I love it.
And Prescott's walking by, and he looked over. I think he gave like a half smile and just kept on going. Shout out to those ladies enjoying the bachelorette party. Go Birds, EAGLES toward Dak Prescott.
And he didn't seem annoyed by it.
No, he did not seem annoyed at all.
Like he seems like Dakota Prescott sounds like a stripper. Dak Prescott seems like he seems like a good dude.
Yes, he does.
And there were, I told you, Fred Johnson, because Fred was at my resort. He was there enjoying his Super Bowl championship.
Yep.
There were 2 Chiefs players. I do not know who they were because I didn't bring my phone to the pool.
Interesting.
But they were like, oh, there are 2 Chiefs guys here. And I told every one of those bartenders, if you want a tip, don't say Go Birds.
Yeah, don't do that to them.
Don't say Go Birds.
That's true.
But here's one. Violation or not, both Chiefs guys that were at the resort were wearing their rings, were wearing a Super Bowl ring daytime at the pool.
That's just showing it off.
That's a violation. Come on. You're on vacation. You just lost the Super Bowl.
I'd be flashing that thing everywhere, man.
You just lost the Super Bowl. No, when you're going out to dinner at night at the
you're
resort.
Saying daytime at the pool?
You're daytime at the pool. You just want people to stop you and go, oh,
well, hold on.
So who are you?
What if they wear it all the time, though?
I don't know. By the way, now I'm going to say this. Been around the NFL a long time. I don't know any NFL player that ever wears it except special events. I don't know any NFL player who wears it just on a random Tuesday to go pick up the dry cleaning.
All right.
Ever. So that's what I'm just saying. Maybe they didn't. My wife, being smart, was like, maybe they wouldn't want to leave it in the room.
That's an expensive ring.
Why bring it on vacation at all?
Well, then that's what I say. Unless you
have the Joe Burrow incident where people are thieving houses.
You want everybody
good point.
No,
they are being targeted now.
Yeah, they could be, but there were other theories. I'm just saying the pool is a weird flex to me.
Listen, you never know. You could end up like Plaxico, and it could be in a pawn shop in 20 years. So,
or Plax could shoot himself.
That's a possibility, too. By the way, Terrence Parsons, the brother of Micah Parsons, was not happy with the ladies in the video. This is cool behavior.
Oh, my gosh.
Like, he's out in public with his family on vacation, not at work, and this is what people do to him? Shaking my head. It's gross and disrespectful.
Gross. Wait a minute. Is he a fan of Penn State football?
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't want to hear about
brother.
I don't want to hear about
exactly.
I don't want to
talk about gross and disrespectful.
I don't want to hear about gross and disrespectful. Please,
come on.
You need to sit down in the corner and be quiet. By the way, your brother. If your brother doesn't comment on it, you don't need to comment on it.
And he comments on a lot.
What is he doing?
Does.
Little Mahomes dances too?
Right, Jackson.
Like his little brother? Boy, Patrick's put a clamp down on that.
And here's the thing, gross and disrespectful. No, you know what would be gross and disrespectful?
If he started cursing him out.
Or if Dak, let's say Dak was at a dinner table at the
That's
resort.
different.
And they went up to the table.
Yes. That's different.
Which I could see happening.
I could too.
But that was nothing. He's walking past the resort. They go, oh my God, it's Dak Prescott. Let's do an Eagles chant. Like, that's awesome. All right, what are your 7 drinks?
Okay, here, play along in the car, everybody. One of them I guarantee most of you will have already had. I had never had one.
And these are John Kincade. The reason why
7 drinks.
And it's because you're very particular with what you drink. And I gave you this task because you went to
Try
all-inclusive.
7 different drinks that I've never had before.
All right.
2 of them I ordered. 5 of them I told the...
Surprise me.
Yeah. I had a dry gin martini.
Yes.
You've had a dry gin martini.
Copy that. That's one.
I've had a martini.
The dry gin martini was in honor of my mom. That's what she drank. And I swear to you, lighter fluid would be my next choice. And I drink gin. I would never have a dry gin martini again in my life.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
I'm more of a flavored martini guy. Like, I can't just do the straight dry or vodka.
I got to tell you this. Betty lived till 91 and had 2 fake knees and was healthy otherwise.
Damn right.
Dry gin martini must have helped. Number 2, the mojito.
Oh, yeah, dude.
So good.
The mojito reminded me, though, honestly, much.
Hold on. These are drinks you've never had, so you never had a mojito before.
Never had one. No.
Dude, they're so good.
They're delicious,
by the way,
dude.
Colin Cowherd's favorite drink.
All right, so I'm 2 for 2. Are you worried about your 4.5?
The mojito reminded me too much of a Tanqueray and tonic.
Okay.
I drink a Tanqueray and tonic. I didn't sense that much of a difference, but I would absolutely have a mojito again. I would never have a dry gin martini.
There's a restaurant in the city that one of my first dates with Christy we went to. It's called Mixto.
And they do a great one?
It's a Cuban restaurant.
Okay, well, I will have a mojito again.
Yeah.
That's absolutely going to be in my rotation at some point. How about a painkiller?
Yeah.
You've had a painkiller?
Yes.
No. What is that?
I didn't know I've never heard of one ever.
There's different names for them, but it's like a fruity drink that you can have in the morning the day after. It's a It's a painkiller hangover.
It's dark rum and cream of coconut. I'm not a big coconut guy.
Yeah.
It tasted like, I don't know, it didn't taste right.
Yeah,
like, to me.
It's a very sweet drink that you
Very sweet, too sweet.
The purpose is to drink it the next morning.
I will never have another painkiller.
Okay.
So I'm never having one of them again.
So I'm 3 for 3.
How about a hot buttered rum?
Never heard of it.
They had them at night at the Martini Bar.
Okay.
It's a hot buttered rum. It's rum, butter, spices, and I would say try it.
Yeah.
If you like
That's
rum,
try it.
A hot buttered rum, I would not order one again.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. The Bahama Mama.
Yes.
So you've had that one too?
Yeah, that's good.
So you've had it. The pineapple, the lime, and the grenadine.
Yeah.
Like the Bahama Mama, would try that one again.
Okay. I'm at 4.
This is okay. Here's why I don't think you'll get there.
We got 2 left, right?
Have you ever had a caipirinha?
No.
It's a Brazilian drink.
Okay.
And I'm saying it as pronounced it. I wrote it as phonetically as I could. A caipirinha.
After Mel Kiper.
It's got a cachaca. It's made out of sugar cane.
I know that.
And lime.
My buddy lived in Brazil for a little bit, so I know about that.
It's cachaca with lime and unfreaking believable.
Okay. How about that?
Okay. Not too sweet.
Got it.
Almost like a little bit of sweet and sour to it.
I like that, yeah.
Oh, it's fantastic.
I mean,
a caipirinha.
Okay.
And I think if a Brazilian restaurant, I bet you could get one.
Probably.
Okay, so this is the one that's going to swing the bet.
I'm at 4, yeah.
Have you ever had a jungle bird?
No. Well, what's in it?
Campari?
I have Campari.
Campari. It's got bitters in it, and it's got another liquor in it, and it's whatever. Try it.
Okay.
I'm not ordering another one, but try it. The caipirinha, if you go to a Brazilian place, gotta have it. I'll do the mojito again, absolutely. The Bahama Mama, I would definitely do again at a pool.
I'm very curious if the Jungle Bird has other names.
The Jungle Bird, it's got Campari. So Google
I've had
it.
Campari.
Campari is the main thing. But
so I hit 4.
I like the exercise.
I'm glad that you did it.
Thank you for you opened my horizons.
You found things that you want.
And I found 3 things that I'll drink again.
See?
So there you go.
Drinking is good.
4 of them I would never have again.
Hey, kids,
that was fun. Thank you for that.
Explore the booze, man. All right, coming up next, We'll go through the moves that took place over the weekend again, and we'll update you on everything that's being reported so far today. Don't forget, legal tampering begins at noon, so there's a lot of whispers already being made. So we'll go through that coming up next. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Legal tampering is almost here. I'm Brendan Gunn with your Fanatic Sports Update. Free agency is pretty much here around the NFL as the legal tampering period officially opens today at 12 noon. Teams can officially contact various pending free agents around the league and work out a deal before officially being allowed to sign them on Wednesday. The Eagles have quite a few names to keep an eye on today. Milton Williams, Josh Sweat, Mekhi Becton, Darius Slay, Isaiah Rodgers, amongst others. We'll keep you updated all day long here on the Fanatic as far as moves go with those names, or if the Eagles make a splash on their own with another guy. One guy says not to expect a splash on the edge this offseason is Rob Motti, who covers the Eagles for the AP and the NFL in general. He was on the best show ever on Friday and had this to say.
They're coming off a Super Bowl victory. They don't have to spend on a big splash like that at edge rusher with the depth that they have, even with potentially losing Sweat and Milton Williams and Brandon Graham.
In other Eagles news, Saquon Barkley is going to speak to the media today around noon as well to discuss that contract extension he received last week. The Sixers, they got back in the win column last night with the 126-122 win over the Utah Jazz. Quentin Grimes and Lonnie Walker each scored 25 points, led the team with that. The Sixers are back on the court tonight on the road to take on the Atlanta Hawks. Tip-offs at 7:30. Listen to that game live right here on the Fanatic. And yesterday, the Flyers lost to the New Jersey Devils by a score of 3-1. This update was brought to you by Jackson Hewitt. It matters who does your taxes. One expert tax prep. Jackson Hewitt will give you $100 to switch. Limited time offer for new clients. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com. I'm Brendan Gunn on the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Ricky Batalico.
You look at this rotation right now and just think of what you heard in spring training. I know they're
here on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. We're going to update you on some of the moves that happened over the weekend, some of the rumors today, a tinfoil cap conspiracy theory by our own Bill Colarulo. But before all of that, did you see this Keon Coleman podcast clip?
I did not.
Keon Coleman, of course, good wide receiver of the Buffalo Bills. He was on with Mello's podcast.
He's funny.
Yes. So every once in a while, after a player obviously kind of makes their payday, which he got paid a little bit this offseason or whatever, after they get drafted, they talk about the combine and how dumb it actually is.
The underwear Olympics, as I call it.
Yes. Keon Coleman hates the NFL combine.
Why?
He got in trouble with numerous teams because during the interview process, he was sitting at a table and there was like snacks on the table. And he helped himself to fruit snacks as one of the examples he used without asking.
Are you kidding me?
And the team, that was a negative grade.
That's stupid. Wait a minute. You put, you're bringing somebody in and you got stuff there on the table for and he's supposed to say, "May I have one?"
Mm-hmm.
Kiss my backside.
And so teams were upset with Keon Coleman because that was like a sign of bad character or whatever. My man, if you're scoring touchdowns for me, eat all the fruit snacks you want, dude. Like, I don't give a damn. Sometimes these teams just overthink it with their ways of trying to go. But remember, Nick Sirianni did the rock, paper, scissors to see how competitive guys were.
And then he's still doing the Papa shot.
Yeah. Everybody's trying to find this random, this is what's really going to separate players from the other. So Keon Coleman told that story, and my first thought was I've been rewatching Seinfeld in full for really the first time in my life.
This is your first time.
I've watched every episode, but it's never been in order. And when they were trying to find characters for the show, the pilot, they had the one guy. He took the box of raisins, and that's
that became an issue.
That's literally what I thought about. Seriously, you're gonna put a guy a check mark in the bad box because he ate some fruit snacks?
That's really incredible. If you put stuff out, that'd be like saying you have guests over to your house and you lay out. Christina likes to lay out the appetizer stuff on the counter and on the island.
Right.
So someone comes into your house. So Gunner comes over. He's not allowed to grab a chip or
There's a bowl of chips there, but we're gonna test them.
No, Christina, may I have a chip? No, that's obnoxious.
Yeah,
those are bad teams.
One more note before the Bill Colarulo tinfoil cap theory.
Okay.
Matt Strom was dealing with some shoulder pain.
He was a pain last year at the end of the season.
As of this morning, it's a little worse.
No.
Phillies team physician Dr. Cohen will be heading down to Clearwater either today or tomorrow. This is from John Clark to check out reliever Matt Strom and his shoulder issue. They have to get the inflammation out, which he's dealing with.
Not good, folks.
Strom says he's listening to the doctors to rest the shoulder, and they want to be cautious about it. I believe it was Matt Gelb I saw earlier Todd Zalecki saying that opening day is now already
in danger?
Yeah, worrisome.
Could Gelb or Zalecki throw for them? Have they checked that out?
Maybe.
I don't know. They both look very crafty.
They do. But this is disappointing right before the start of the season that one of your key relievers could be starting off on the IL, or maybe he has to gear up. Right? We saw this with Kerkering last year with the. Remember, he missed 2 weeks with the flu.
As long as Nick Nurse is not telling me there's a ramp-up period, I'm going to believe it.
Well, there will most likely be a ramp-up period with Matt Strom, who's already resting the shoulder in March. That's not good.
That's not good.
If you're already dealing with shoulder issues in March, that's not necessarily something I'm excited about.
Not good. But by the way, too, I meant to tell you one other thing. There was one guy at the resort who was walking around. He's walking to breakfast in the morning. I'm in the pool. He's getting a late breakfast. He's wearing his Devontae Smith jersey.
Okay, love that.
On the resort to breakfast.
Sure, why not, man? Go Birds. Look, that's Super Bowl pride.
I had Eagles stuff on.
Hell yeah.
I had my Eagles hat. I had Eagles tumbler. I had Eagles. The Eagles jersey was not packed.
Well,
to go to 85 degrees.
That's what I was about to ask. What was the average temp? Because
85, it was never lower than 78 overnight.
I hate wearing the jersey like when it's hot out.
78 is the lowest it got in the middle of the night.
Yeah, I'm not wearing the jersey.
But the range of temps is only around 10 degrees, but maybe like the highest it got was like 87.
Yeah.
Come on, dude.
All right, so Bill Colorado has a theory.
What's that?
In regards to the Saquon press conference happening at noon today.
Okay.
I'm upset that it's happening when I'm refreshing Twitter.
Okay.
He says this is a code.
A code.
For, quote, we're going to lose a lot of players, so let's try to deflect with Saquon in front of a microphone. He then says, brace yourselves, Philly. Could be a long day. Now,
is anything unexpected? Does anyone expect Milton Williams back?
No, or Josh Sweat. The only guy
So then what's the long day?
Mekhi Becton's the only guy that I think is still kind of
hanging there in the balance?
Yeah.
Yes. And I by the way, not speaking out of turn, that when I said earlier on the show that Mekhi Becton is, I believe, just checking the market, and that could very well happen again.
Legally, of course.
A well-placed source tells me that I'm right on the money. Sent me just the target where like the dart is on the or the arrows on the target. That is the only thing I received about Mekhi Becton. You're right on target. So it's like you got to see what the market is. He gets this is his one chance at free agency. This is one big chance.
Yeah.
He gets to see it, but obviously that tells me there's interest that the Eagles have said, look, if the number's reasonable and you want to come back, we want you back. You'd be welcome to come back.
So here's my theory to go against Bill.
Like nobody expects any of these things to happen, right?
The Eagles love being the center of attention.
They do.
So it's like, oh man, Philadelphia's gonna be paying attention to the league. No, pay attention to us. Here's Saquon. I don't think it's to deflect.
This isn't like Daryl Morey being available the Friday before the Super Bowl. I mean,
yeah,
it's not one of those situations.
Well, it just so happened that was when the NBA trade deadline.
I mean, it was amazing.
All right.
By the way, Daryl, we need to talk to you now.
Yes.
And a little damage control may be in order.
Yes. After what was said.
Let's do that soon, because we want to hear from you.
I wonder if he didn't really think what he was about to say.
Guess what? I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt that he misspoke or he mischaracterized what he meant to say.
Because I'm not fueled on anger. I'm fueled on 24 years. Yeah, he absolutely is.
Very candid guy.
All right, coming up next, we'll check our text line. We have the Key 3 coming up in a little bit. By the way, I saw my friends from Von C on Saturday.
You son of a... Without me.
Well, I was at the Bucks Beer Bash.
Well, I bet they were a big hit there.
Yes, they were. Also, I got to get your reaction to the trade deadline in the NHL. Mr. Hockey over
absolutely.
Here. All right, it's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Mike Missanelli.
My lineup has always been Turner, Harper, Bohm, Schwarber, Castellanos, Stott, JT, Kepler, Marshy.
Talking about the Phillies.
Both of those left-handers at the bottom does not make me feel that good because you're counting.
Pierce Phelps Bryant Heating and Air Conditioning Contractors. Visit nopaybryant.com. And again, the keyword for the Sixers-Wizards knockout night tickets is JAM. JAM. Go to 975thefanatic.com contest page. Enter that keyword from now until the end of the show.
We're jamming.
Before you get the next keyword coming up at 10 o'clock with the Mike Missanelli Show with Bill Colarulo. No Ray Dunn today because Ray is traveling for a conference tournament.
Yeah, Ray loves drinking in the airports.
He does.
Thank God he's not a pilot.
He didn't ask me anything yesterday. I chimed in yesterday.
What did you ask him? Why are you such a lush in the airport?
Oh, I asked him, give me your all-time starting five with players with the first name that start with the letter Z.
Okay.
And to his credit, he did it.
That's good.
Look, I needed to entertain the young lad. He's sitting there drinking by himself at the airport. All right, so coming up again, key three in a few minutes, but you were also out during the NHL trade deadline. Now, the moves took place after we were off the air, so I didn't really get a chance to react to it all that much. But, again, I don't understand how disappointed people are.
Oh, my gosh.
They're rebuilding, guys.
I'm telling you right now.
You're the hockey guy.
I'm telling you right now. Is Flyers Twitter is the most annoying Twitter. It's the most annoying Twitter. Because I just don't. It's like people do not understand what a rebuild's about.
They're in year 2.
For God's sake, it's year 2 of Danny Briere, and he has done a fantastic job of accumulating the assets. Now, how he is going to be determined, his success, is what he does in the next 2 drafts.
Absolutely.
And how that talent comes together. If he fails, that's where he will fail. He has done a fantastic job, and I'm going to go as far as to say, without being too flippant, that nobody who is gone is going to be majorly missed except personally.
Yeah, Scott Lawton.
Personally.
A lot of people like him personally.
He's a fantastic guy to have in your organization. Fantastic person. But personally, on the ice, no. They'll be fine. Because by the time they're going to be really good, you can get something for a Scott Lawton now. And by the way, they got a great deal.
First round.
Got a great deal, dude. I mean, Danny's done a fantastic job of setting the table for him to now have 2 critical off seasons. This off season to have a really critical draft, next off season to have a critical draft, and to add some money next off season.
Right.
I don't believe it will be added this year. You go get it. I'm loving where they're setting up. By the way, if you hear about Danny Briere's peers, think the world of what he's done.
Yeah.
Like they're looking at his draft capital right now and going, the man can pretty much do whatever he wants in the draft.
Yeah.
To move around.
I don't understand why. I saw some people saying that you could have had Lawton for the same price last year, which would have sped up the rebuild, but why are we trying to speed things up?
No, do the rebuild right.
Yeah.
Do the rebuild right. And I'm glad Lawton was here for the initial era of it. Now pass him on. And I hope he goes and wins a Stanley Cup. I hope he has great success.
Yeah.
He's a good person.
All right. Give us some text before we get to the key 3, Gunner. Again, we're reacting to what went on in the NFL and how it's made me even more confident about the Eagles because the Eagles aren't making dumb moves like some of these other teams around the NFL are right now. And also, Dallas Goedert could be traded. Your reaction if Dallas Goedert's traded, I don't want them to do it. I want them to try to find a way to rework his deal so that he can get an extra year under contract so he can get some of the money that he wants. I think he's a very integral part to this Eagles offense. I really do. Even though you have AJ and Devontae and Saquon, Dallas Goedert's a big part of it. Look at his playoff numbers. He was a big part of that playoff run in which they won the freaking Super Bowl. So I'm not ready to just move on for a 4th-round pick. What do we got, Gunner?
Yeah, first off, we got Justin in Delaware, or technically in Brazil right now, listening to the show, saying he had a couple of those drinks. I'm not going to even try to pronounce it, but one of those Brazilian drinks that John mentioned. Had a couple last night. Said they're good. We also got Derek in North Philly checking in, saying, with Goedert and his blocking ability potentially leaving, does that make keeping Mekhi Becton on that side of the ball that much more important?
I don't think so. I don't think Goedert being here or not being here will dictate Mekhi Becton. Look, they like Tyler Steen. He was going to be the right guard last year. It's just Becton beat him. But I don't think Goddard's future is going to determine Becton's future. I don't think so.
No, I don't either.
You know.
And I hate it. I don't hate the conversation because that's what we do for a living. But I hate sort of the conversation because it sort of feels like you're going, yeah, no big deal if Dallas Goedert leaves. But I'm not going to lose sleep if he does. I really do believe that if you inspect the numbers of the running game, when Dallas Goedert has missed games the last 3 seasons, you will find he doesn't affect the running game as much as we think he does because they can do it when he's out.
Okay.
And that's just, I'm going to say, it seems to be the talking point is, well, the running game's going to really, I think he's a selfless player.
Absolutely.
I almost said selfish. That's not what I meant.
No,
a selfless player. I think he does whatever needs to be done for the team.
How many times have we said, man, I wish we could get more out of Goedert? It may not be because of him. It's because of the way the offense is tailored to this system.
He's a great team component.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm not letting him have a $12.2 million cap hit on this year's team.
All right, give us another text, Gunner, before we get to the key three.
All right, we got Will in Tampa checking in, saying, seeing these contracts some of these players are signing, how can anyone not appreciate Howie Roseman and what Jeffrey Lurie has allowed him to do? Has essentially got them ahead of the curve when it comes to money. Seeing what Metcalf got and realizing we already have our top two wide receivers under contract in their prime years for way less. Howie needs his own 30 for 30.
Yeah, that's a big thing. A.J. Brown's probably going, what the hell did DK get?
By the way, how do you think about Devontae Smith?
His college teammate.
How do you think Devontae Smith got treated on the podcast tour?
What did he say about Devontae?
He said Odell Beckham was a better receiver, which, I mean...
Well, like all time?
It was one of those things like, stop me when I say a wide receiver better than this. And it got to Devontae Smith and OBJ.
When Odell Beckham 5 years ago?
Yeah, I think he's talking about all time.
Odell Beckham was a better wide receiver before Devontae Smith entered the league. Since Devontae Smith has entered the league.
Yeah, it's not right now.
No,
it was
saying,
all time.
Okay.
Yeah, prime Odell Beckham, who was a freak. He was really good.
He was a freak.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, I think by the time career is done, Slim Reaper will be a better.
Well, yeah,
receiver.
Odell Beckham fell apart.
He fell apart. Look, he had a bright, shining moments, a couple highlight reel moments. But I believe by the end of his career, Devontae Smith will be higher regarded. So I don't agree with that.
Okay.
I don't think it's a slight, but it just is. I don't know why. I don't know. I don't know why you're evaluating. So, how good looking are your coworkers? Yeah. He's better looking than him. She isn't good looking. I mean, seriously, like, I just don't understand why he needs to do it.
Was really, really good.
He had a 3-year.
And then he fell apart.
Did he have a 3-year window? Am I shortening him?
So he had 3 years. His first 3 years in New York, he was exceptional. Then he gets hurt in 2017, comes back and has two also 1,000-yard receivers.
What's his career yardage? Do you have it there?
Just under 8,000.
Devontae Smith is going to blow that away.
He only had 5 1,000 plus 1,000-yard seasons.
Devontae Smith's already got 3, right?
Right. Here's the problem, right? Games played 12, 15, 16, 4, 12, 16, 7, 6, 8, 14, 9. Guy just couldn't stay healthy.
I mean, Devontae Smith's going to blow his.
By the way, in terms of locker room guy, Devontae Smith much better.
Yes. So I would not put him below.
He's not proposing to the kicking there.
And he's
Remember that?
And he's not also going to take the team away before you're focusing for a playoff game to the
boat
party
on the boat
down the boat trip where everybody was wearing like boots.
Yeah. Timberlands
like
on the boat.
they're wearing Timberlands on a boat in Miami. Couldn't look more like.
I love
Goobers.
the tweet of the Giants.
Goobers.
The Giants record is however many games under 500 since this picture was taken.
Since the boat picture.
All right, it's time now for the Kincade Salciunas Key 3 best minutes from today's show.
Now, the Kincade Salciunas Key 3, today's best.
So there's a lot of moving parts today, and there's going to be a lot of reports that come out, and there's going to be a lot of reports that come out later on in the week in terms of player signing. But what I want to start off just league-wide first, I got to ask the question, what are some teams doing, John? I saw last night a trade for DK Metcalf, who's a stud. Don't get me wrong, a great player. A trade for DK Metcalf, which was a second-round pick from the Pittsburgh Steelers to the Seattle Seahawks.
Which, by the way, second-round pick, I don't think if you're a team that thinks it can win in the next few years, you're not going to find that, I don't believe, in the draft.
Right.
That's probably going to make that kind of thing.
They extend him 5 years, $150 million, $30 million a year.
That's crazy.
For a team that doesn't have a quarterback.
It's crazy.
They don't have a quarterback. Russell Wilson and Justin Fields are both out on the market. And what? Are you going to bring back Russell Wilson? Probably not. Are you going to bring back Justin Fields? Maybe, but I don't know what kind of payday he's going to get. Speaking of the Seattle Seahawks, they trade away Geno Smith, which I think is a win for Seattle. The fact that they were able to move on from a quarterback that just kind of got them to a certain level, but they were never going to win anything big picture. And they trade him to the Raiders. The Raiders give up a decent draft pick in the third round pick, and then are paying him $40 to $45 million a year for a guy that's just a guy in the NFL.
We argue here all the time with people who want to devalue Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
Or we talk about people on the national talk shows that want to devalue Jalen Hurts.
That say that he's not good. He's a product of the team, blah, blah, blah.
What? I want to see what Sam Darnold's going to get paid. I want to see what Geno Smith in Vegas. Are you freaking kidding me? You hit Vegas jackpots? We have the jackpot in Jalen Hurts in value? Now it looks, Jalen Hurts, I believe, is now, I was checking the list before the show, I believe he's now 10th or 11th highest paid quarterback in the NFL. Are you kidding me?
Now, somebody that might not be smiling as we transition, Dallas Goedert. Maybe he is, maybe he's not. I don't know where Dallas Goedert wants to be. But last week, Jeff McClain said on his podcast that he does not believe that Dallas Goedert will return. He was speaking to an agent. Was this back at the Super Bowl or was it at the Combine? All right, it was at the Combine. So Jeff McClain spoke to an agent, not Dallas Goedert's agent, at least we don't know. He spoke to an agent that said Dallas Goedert was not going to play another game for the Philadelphia Eagles. And I was like, oh, man, that's kind of disappointing. And then yesterday there was reports that he could be going for a fourth-round pick, and it almost seems like it's going to happen. Josina Anderson reported yesterday, league sources telling her that the Eagles are holding out hope for at least a fourth-round pick for Dallas Goedert in a potential trade, even if the pick was from later years, like 26 or 27. However, a lower pick and more of a salary adjustment is needed for some teams to continue conversations. So by the reading of that tweet, it's almost like, yeah, it's going to happen. It just depends on the compensation at this point. And I'll be honest, man, that disappoints me.
I was hoping Connor would be here today, but I knew he was still one more day down in Florida. He argued this with me on the air. I said I thought that they were going to move on from Dallas Goedert.
I know that you did.
And I believe that, honestly, it's the smart move. I think it's the smart move.
I'm disappointed by it. All right, there is the Kincade Salciunas key
borderline
3.
Devastated.
Borderline devastated.
That was the word of the day. I'm borderline. I'm going to use borderline devastated like twice more today.
Good. I sure hope so.
If Christina tells me we're having like anything out of the crock pot, I'm going to go, I'm borderline devastated by that.
Yeah, but crock pot's good.
Some things, not my favorite. Not my favorite. And after a week of going into like fine dining places and having someone cook for you, it's awesome.
Wait, so how does this work in your house? Like, Christy and I agree upon what will be made for dinner.
Considering that I'm a weakling in the kitchen. She knows what I like. It's just
so what you're
there's
saying
some things
is,
I don't like.
I find this interesting. I think this is a generation thing. Because my mom will just make dinner.
Right.
And my dad will sit down at the table and it's like,
Oh, I won't do that.
No, but like they're like
she's Latin. She kicked the crap out.
One day my mom made like I think it was like a General Tso's. But instead of chicken, she tried sneaking in tofu. My dad took a bite and was like, "What the hell is this? What is this?
Well,
what is this spongy substance?"
I'm not eating sponge.
But what I'm saying is, like,
I get you.
Christy and I agree. It's like this is what's happening for dinner.
She tries to pick stuff that I'll like to eat.
Okay, interesting.
Except she doesn't like to cook fish, and I love fish.
Yeah,
I love fish.
All right, tell us
hey,
about
I should learn to
cancer
cook.
Research.
Hey, I have friends at H&H Heating and Air Conditioning. We love those folks. And they make a donation to the American Association for Cancer Research, and you can do it just like they do. Go to 975thefanatic.com/AACR because cancer research saves lives.
Johnny, it was good to have you back.
Good to be with you
nice
again.
And tan.
I'll tell you this, I feel so energized, too. So it's great. And
you only got 1 week left with me.
Yeah, I do. No, but next week you will be getting yourself re-energized.
Damn right, man. Yeah, absolutely.
Yours will be a little more exhausting, though.
Yeah, I got a 3-year-old going with me. All right, everybody.
I remember those days.
Everybody have a great rest of your day. Mike Missanelli's show with Bill Colarulo comes right next here on 97.5 The Fanatic.